once.
Hello, everybody. This is Grimcat, and we are back with some more Dungeons and Dragons Wednesday. In these are trying times, which is my new most favorite phrase ever. Second only to social distancing, or as I like to call it, any other given day.
Right?
Just regular life.
I know the kind of person I am, and I have come to terms with it a long time ago. But yeah, we're still here. We're playing D&D because we're on the internets and we don't actually know what anybody else looks like. I'm incredibly handsome. You can take my word for it.
I don't think we've actually done a group photo, have we?
I have the jawline of Zeus himself.
But
I'm just 1980s.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's that's impressive. I mean, if I could, I would look like that.
I sort of feel bad. There's two of us who actually know what we look.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and down the list, or let's go up the list this time from the very start and introduce ourselves and shake off a little bit of the dust. So let's start with our friendly, or mostly friendly, neighborhood kobold tadpole.
Hola, ¿cómo está? That's kobold for get the hell away.
Let's go over to Rick, the dragonborn barbarian.
Rick.
Guts, our Skelly Man bard.
Physically, I am here, but emotionally, I am a beanie baby frog.
Adrian, our human? Are you a human, Adrian? Yeah, you're like the only human.
Well, unless we do my little
What
quest
a
I want to
normie.
do, then no.
But he is also a necromancer.
He might not be a
I don't know if
normie
he
for
can help
long.
And Gypsy, who is...
Dad.
Yet again in between characters.
who also goes
Yay!
by 420, I believe. I have no idea what I ever call you
Yes.
until I call you it.
I think you've usually just called
And
me
then
420,
character
I'm pretty
names,
sure.
who is unfortunately somewhat
Yeah.
between characters.
This next one will be the
Again.
constant, I'm pretty sure.
So he will be taking over the movement of Ridge around the house.
I get to sit in corners.
You get to skedaddle.
Can you do the Reg voice? That's what I want to know.
No, I can't. That's why I would never
You
take
just
over
have to
Reg.
say
I couldn't do him
fresh in
justice.
a trembly voice, and then you got it. Everything else is built off of that.
Yeah, good point.
Can you give us one Ridge fresh
Give
first?
me the
Bro?
fresh. See, my voice cracked a little bit in it.
I get goosebumps, and not the good kind when you do that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think I think I just became a dragonborn barbarian, and I know the crab now.
So we did not play last week because, I don't know, it was probably something on my end. It generally is something on my end. Either way, I apologize, but obviously, since I can't even remember what it was, I can't apologize too seriously. But the week before, a lot of things have happened. We have successfully, mostly successfully, staged a jailbreak. We managed to freeze free most everyone from our party who was trapped by a group of slavers under the leadership, control, something rather, of two parasitical demons known as Irul and Sold. We've actually managed to kill one of them, but without looking to the map, I don't remember which one we actually killed. I believe it was Irul.
I think it was Irul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Which
so.
is an impressive feat to say nonetheless. and I wonder if it will have further far-reaching consequences. But who knows? We have decided
That's not.
to go back to the city, lick our wounds, and prepare a little bit more. And in doing so, we have sought out Strom Tolly, who is... I don't exactly want to say benefactor, because that has all sorts of friendly and happy implications, but he's certainly someone who is footing the bill, or potentially footing the bill. He has promised a reward for the capture of any beings with what he calls a divine spark, which is very poorly defined, but we have been told repeatedly that we'll know what it is when we see it. We have sort of, I don't even want to say pleaded or cajoled him some for some additional aid. Because, you know, that sort of implies like a begging type thing. And we didn't beg. I'll give you that. But we have asked for additional aid. He has promised some magical items of an assorted variety and help of a more traditional, i.e. bodies filling boots type way, in order for us to become a stronger force so that we can actually go out and, do some good. Or some morally gray actions.
Yeah, we're good at morally grey.
Hi, Riley. How are you? Would you like to say hello to everyone on the internet who may or may not be listening?
Hello.
You have to say hello to
Hi.
everyone on the internet. Like, that's the phrase you have to say.
Hello to everyone on the internet.
That's my girl. All right, but now Daddy's going to be talking, so Daddy needs you to
Do
be
be
more
like
or less
that, though.
quiet, okay? Can you do that?
You said more or less quiet.
Quiet, yeah. I meant what I said. Can you do that and still be in here?
Yes. Let me
Okay.
get my Animal Crossing.
Okay, well, I also need the door to be shut. All right.
Anybody there? It's like
I had
dead
to
silence.
have a quick conversation about we are allowed to be here, but we have to keep relatively quiet. Yes, relatively quiet.
What?
So where was
You were telling us how you're giving us all stimulus packages?
yes, there is sort of
Yeah.
we are in the Abyss stimulus package going out at some point. We're not entirely sure when it's going to reach us. We do not know what it consists of, but we're all looking forward to it, and I'm sure we will not be disappointed when it gets here.
Bad.
So we've decided to take at least a week off as well before we go back out. We had some things that we sort of wanted to do in the meantime. And so I'm going to go slightly
Indeed.
up or down the list as it comes to, and touch on people and their sort of activities in this downtime. I'm going to call it social quarantine, because, I mean, man, I could not miss that opportunity. Even though we aren't necessarily doing it. And Tadpole, for instance, is definitely not doing it. Tadpole is spending her time out and about in the city, attempting to find out what is going on in the somewhat or very seedy underbelly of the city, listening to rumors, listening to gossip, trying to find out the flow of what's going on, and specifically more towards the sort of slave uprising, which was we believed in sort of full bloom, but as it's turned out, Tadpole, it's kind of slowed down to a crawl. It's one thing when there are shadowy oppressors looming over us, keeping the men and women not of the city but of elsewhere who were torn cruelly from their homes down. But it's also quite another when there are demons walking the streets in broad daylight who are possibly not up to any good.
Hey, that's racist.
Right.
And furthermore, people are not super happy with you very specifically.
What?
When you came back,
Benevolent little
you
kobold?
came back without your guide. Who was someone who was requested at your behalf, on your behest, is doing a favor, sort of getting in good, and he's not with you anymore. So you're getting more or less the cold shoulder by some of these people who you were getting in fairly well with before.
Poor Tedful.
Demons
Okay.
happen to do
His
that.
dad was
You are not by
youth-
any means totally abandoned, naked, afraid, and alone, or anything of that nature. But people are certainly not as forthcoming with you as they were. It's almost more like they're disappointed in you. You had started to receive sort of a reputation due to your association with the country as a woman who can definitely get things done. But this just little setback has sort of shaken that some. Oh, well, maybe she isn't as great as we thought she was. Maybe we can't trust her with all this kind of information. Just little things, but maybe pretty important.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry. Again, distractions abound. We're going to move over to Rick. Rick, the thing that we decided to do, and of course the royal we, is that we were going to sit down, do a little of the nitty and the gritty, and help Zoosh become a bit more competent?
What? A bit more strong.
Competent.
A bit more. Yeah.
You know,
a bit more
I'd
competent,
hate to imply that
stronger,
she's
whatever she needs.
incompetent, which is apparently of the phrase of the day I hate to imply, because I think I've said it like 3 times now. But it is no secret that she is significantly weaker than you all. But you managed to spend, a fairly grueling, at least for her, week or so, training her up, pushing her. She's kind of, with the advent of, her brother's death, she came into her powers fairly well. It turns out that was pretty much the catalyst she needs. So she is certainly more competent on that phase, but she's also starting to become a more decent fighter, which is not to say she's anywhere near y'all's level, but she is certainly getting the hang of it, going out to it, and learning a little bit. So mission mostly successful.
So I've trained her up to be more smarter in combat and just more fluid, and she just knows more about a lot more of the combat.
She does. She has a stronger sense of her own strengths and weaknesses, which admittedly has changed dramatically at this point. But she does understand at this point she does not necessarily have to just stay back and do nothing. There are things that she can do.
Yeah.
And she can take a little bit more of a hit, frankly.
Yeah, having 40 HP when you're dealing with the level 9 encounters and stuff, that's not survivable.
But we are going to roll, because I am a terrible person. We're not going to roll. I rolled 2 once. We're gonna ignore that. We're just gonna bump some things up normal. Man, hopefully those are by. Well, I rolled a 1 and a 2, but even still, hopefully those are the bad rolls out. Guts. The thing that you were
Yes,
going
sir.
to work on or with was with your sisters in your coven. You wanted to sort of get to where you needed to be. Again, it's been said that it's a thing that you've somewhat been neglecting a little bit, mostly by the hags themselves, of course. And that they were operating at, well, frankly, way less than their potential. As their magic is sort of a group thing in nature. And without, the group... I'm sorry.
It's not as potent.
Without the group working in tandem, well, things are a bit not great. And you've made some breakthroughs. Things are progressing pretty well. Again, it's not something that happens at the snap of a finger or even a week like that, but you're getting used to it. You're spending more time with them. You're learning more about them, which perhaps not the greatest. They're not good individuals by any means, but they're not all doom or gloom, and they're sort of adapting much better than one might think they would adapt to the idea of where they are, the party in general. This isn't a thing that comes naturally to them. Hags are typically either solitary or at most a coven of 3 or so. So being around a lot of people makes them nervy, to say the least. Yeah.
I have a question. Do they make a book club and or sewing circle at all?
No.
Important questions. No book club?
They do not make a book club nor a sewing circle.
That's the best part, though.
Funnily enough that you mentioned, one of the things that they do start to work on is the making of potions. At least these two certainly have a thing to... They like to work with their hands. They've obviously made your soul bag, which is a pretty impressive item in and of itself. So they've asked for a room somewhere in the mansion to convert to one of their rooms. And should you decide to do it, they can churn out, healing potions a week, X many, depending on materials and things like that. But more ostensibly, between the three of you, we've unlocked some of their magic spells, which you can share with as well. But they're mostly of sort of a lesser thing. You can, for free, cast Ray of Sickness and Hold Person. And they can do so as well. Ray of Sickness, of course, being like a cantrip, I believe. Hold Person is limited to 1 time per day for each of you. But
That's
they
sweet.
are starting to get
I
there.
love that.
And they're attempting to teach you sort of their method of illusionary magic. It's a bit tougher to grasp, but they're doing their dangdest to help you get there.
They're trying, and that's what counts. I do have a question though about the soul bag. Last time you mentioned it was kind of growing or like grafting itself
did.
onto my body. Has it made any progression since then?
No. Not in and of itself, not unless you've done anything with the soul bag. And I kind of imagine you have not been doing too much with it. But right now you do have, I believe, Jadian's soul in the soul bag. I believe that is what we decided was happening, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That was an important thing that probably should have been mentioned in the recap, but I didn't. So there you go.
Yep, it's tucked all in there.
Adrian, you are on a quest of
Spiritual
varying
journey?
holiness to become sort of an undead being. It's certainly not out of the question. It is not something you can quite accomplish in a week. You can spend a certain amount of money to hire agents in the city to procure things that you need, knowledge that you need, etc., etc. So it is likely waiting for you after some period of time, but unfortunately it's just something that you cannot quite accomplish in a week. And it's not even a ton of money that you have to, put out. If you put out 1,000 gold, I would say that within the month, if everything goes well, and, I'll admit that's sort of a large caveat with what's going on with the city right now. But the items, not necessarily the items, but the rituals, the spells themselves can be procured. Necromancy is not hugely popular within the city, because frankly, most wizards do not go beyond the cantrip phase. But those of higher learning, they do record things, but it's not necessarily the easiest to find. So, long story short, not quite, but almost.
Okay, subtracting 1,000 gold.
And then, of course, materials and all that, depending on, but probably finding the materials shouldn't be a huge issue. I don't think it was anything like grossly rare, I believe.
I'd have to find someone to cast it on me.
It was not a self-cast thing? I only glanced through it, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, I have to be brutally tortured doing it, basically.
Oh, I raised my hand. I'll help.
I'll do it.
Can you get
The
me
hags
a
will
scroll to...
Can the hags help?
Hold on one second.
The gist of it is that I have to be the one have done stuff done to, and someone else usually has to take care of the day-long ritual.
Not right now, but maybe later. I might be doing some funny voices later.
It's a buddy system.
Because the person casting it also needs to be able to
I can't tell
have
you.
two undead under
But anyway,
control.
remember.
Well, that's a fluff thing from the original book, I think.
Are you taking a break from your Switch? Did it die?
It's pretty cool though.
Plug up your Switch. So
It's
it'll
like
be
I like
charging
that.
for
You
when you
could-
have it later, okay?
Yeah, because you'd have the two undead
Well,
things
what's it at
do
right
all
now?
all the equal work.
It's not gonna tell me, but Mommy's on.
Okay. I don't think Mommy should be on. I saw Mommy at work. No, well, sure enough.
Maybe
All right, kiddo. Like I said, go plug it up. I will text your mommy today, and we'll see if you can play again
maybe
later.
I can go over
Is
to
everyone
her
going real
house
quiet, or did I do so?
into my
No,
house.
everyone just went really quiet. Grim.
All right.
Go do something. Go do something.
Yeah, I'm writing in the spells I got. Also, I wonder if I'm assuming I'm getting the equipment I lost back. Like, I go out and buy more. Wait, is literally has
I'm
almost
sorry,
nothing.
guys, for that. Again, distractions abound. The joys of having your daughter.
It'd be like that.
All right. I only have
You only have one child?
Yeah.
Just
Oh
wait.
no, I'm no longer married. I have no plans of more than one. One's good. But of course, that means she's a little spoiled and is used to Daddy paying a lot of attention to her. Okay, where were we?
We were torturing our fellow part of
Yeah, we were
So I guess
talking
that is
about
a
it.
question, Adrian. Are you being
That's-
sort of open and forthcoming about your plans to the rest of the party, or is this more of a personal sort of secret thing that you've decided that you want to do and you're going to take the steps to make it happen? Or is this just a normal everyday thing to you that you would just talk about, normally?
It's a normal everyday thing. Probably I've mentioned it at least once, especially to the guts.
I think I've actually already asked him if I can help him out doing it.
Probably.
If Adrian mentions it to me, I think I'd be pretty on board with helping, but I would like to ask, this is something you're certain about, right? Like, this is something you want? Bad?
Yeah.
Alright, slap him on the back. He's like, let's do it.
This isn't like a tattoo. It's something that you're gonna do and then you're gonna be like, oh, I regret that. Now I can't be a
Bro,
real
it's not like a tattoo.
That's permanent, you know.
I mean, yes, tattoos are permanent,
Yes,
but
yes, tattoos are permanent, but so are 7 kids.
yep. And so is ritualistically killing yourself to become an undead person.
It's like a normal advancement kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, this is pretty cool. See, I can pop my arm off, and then I'm gonna pop my arm off and hold in my other hand and kind of wave it around.
Can we have long range high fives?
Oh my god, what if I throw it and then throw it at Rick and it high fives him?
Well, now you do sort of have some sort of fleshy tendrils growing onto your arms, so it's kind of something that would prevent you from, just chucking it.
Alright.
What about just a hand?
Is the hand good?
She could probably toss her hand.
Okay, toss the hand instead of the whole arm. It's like one of those ones you pop your hand off and it walks along the side.
So the rat folk.
What would it be to catch the hand so it doesn't break?
Yeah.
What kind of trick would
Like
it
a
be
high
to
five.
catch the hand?
Like, you want me to make you roll for it?
Well, I doubt that there's a chance if you're throwing a hand, I'm not going to catch it. There's a chance I'm not going to catch it. What
Yeah,
like,
but I feel like
I'd roll for that.
If there's a chance that it's light enough that if it hits the floor, it's not
It's
going to
true.
do anything.
I don't think it would break. I mean, bones are stronger than you might think. But give me an acrobatics check just to see.
Would it
It's
be
acrobatics.
acrobatics?
Rolls on Greg's neck.
It's acrobatics.
We're just casually tossing an item to each other. 12 is certainly more than enough to succeed.
Just-
A long range high five.
Like, we maybe can't do anything super exciting with it. We're not juggling it or anything, but we can, do sort of a very weak, bony high five. Turns out you kind of need flesh to do a good high five. But the idea is there.
There's no slap. It's more just
The effort. I got
That's
the
right.
spirit for it.
Spirit is willing, but the flesh is just not there.
Oh, that's great.
So the rat folk haven't quite been idle either. They've made some trips back and forth. They were themselves slightly underprepared. Vex wasn't too much. Vex pretty much goes out armed for bear when she goes out, but Kif was a little on the under-geared side. So when they came home during this week, they headed back to the rat house. They made their reports and all that, notified about what was going on, and then have come back. I guess the other sort of elephant in the room is what, if anything, are we going to say to Thorgrim?
It was all a dream.
What beholders? You haven't given us any yet.
Hey, you talked about it, but it never showed up.
You're gonna gaslight him.
I'm gonna rickroll him.
I don't actually need to worry about it.
Didn't they say not to cross Stormtally?
Yes, they did. They said don't fuck with him.
So, like,
It turns out the beholders were actually important the entire time. I mean,
Turns out they were the spark of divinity. Oh no, the DM laughed, we're fucked.
That's a good question. What are we gonna tell him? Just say, "Hey, bro, he didn't show up. We don't know anything about no beholders."
they went on a secret mission.
Now, there hasn't been any contact from him. I don't think he is looking for you at the moment, but it is very possible to, think that should he decide to look for you, he will find you. Stromtoli found you after a brief sending to Stromtoli, and then he realized that you were back in the city. It is not unreasonable to think that Thorgrim could do the same. I mean, is our solution say nothing? Again, we've sort of jokingly put out the idea, at least I believe it was jokingly, put out the idea that we're going to play him by saying, no, we never got your help or aid or anything like that. But is that the route we would wish to take?
Okay, can I do some kind of a nature roll or something what do I know about beholders' powers as far as are they able to see through these? I want to know what I know.
2 separate rolls.
Can you tell me
a nature and you can give me an arcana?
Yeah, I know a lot.
Most of what you've heard about beholders, you've sort of heard while gathering rumors in the city. It wasn't really something you dealt with a lot on your home plane. You've heard more things about the way they act than any specifics. There's a lot of rumor and mystery surrounding them, and a lot of things that boil down to, frankly, I don't know. People not knowing, not me not knowing. So it's real sort of tough. You do know that generally they do not have
I know they're
magical
smart.
abilities themselves. In fact, they have sort of an anti-magic sphere around them typically.
They have innate abilities, but not magical
Yes,
abilities per
they
se.
are on the supernatural category, which certainly mimics magic,
Yeah.
but is not necessarily magic.
Do we know that they are smart?
We do know that they are smart. That would be something that goes out with smart and typically incredibly paranoid. They are very typically not social creatures at all and would much rather destroy, even rats that they come into contact with for fear that they are agents sent by their enemies, of which pretty much everyone who is not them is considered an enemy. Typically. You would learn that Thorgrim most definitely is the general exception to this rule. And while his nature as being a beholder is not secret, it is not the most publicized thing either. He is typically one of those senators who sort of lurks in the shadows and does things. By all accounts, he does a lot of quote-unquote good for the city, although again, the people you're asking would not consider it to be very good for the most part, as he deals a lot with security of the city.
All right. Well, then whatever we do, let's just try not to BS him too much. Give him 99% truth with 1% lie, because if he's that smart, he's used to getting the truth or figuring out the truth if he's in security, would be my guess. So that would be my suggestion: is let's not try to give him some blatant, flat-out lie. Matter of fact, I just told him the truth. We were captured by slavers, and they didn't make it.
I'm gonna be right back. Gonna get a little bit more coffee. You talk amongst yourselves about what you're gonna do.
Yeah. That way, if he tries to inside us, things like that.
I'm pretty sure we already sending him that, like, all of that last.
Yeah, I was sure we sent Thorgrim a sending last session.
Like, that message that I posted in chat was the message that Adrian sent him.
No, we did, because I'm reading Grimm's reply to it right now. Little busy, city more or less fucked, don't cross Stromtoli, can't keep you safe right now. Demons conduct electricity better than you might think. Tuna. So yeah, we've already contacted Stromtoli. I thought we had.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, so I don't know why we're... Yeah.
Because the tuna...
I
gotta go AFK for just a moment. Be right back.
I think Grim forgot that we'd already dealt with him.
Tunas are obviously code word for I'm gonna kill you, you know?
We go outside and it's just raining fish.
What do you think he's gonna do if, do you think he's gonna react well to this? Because I don't know.
I mean, I doubt and really, really hope he didn't, but I doubt he sent his literal children with us, but we're kind of really fucked if he sent his actual children with us. Like, imagine if those weren't just figment creations, those were like his actual children, his spawn that he sent with us.
That's that, but they make offspring by dreaming about them. And definitely speaking, they don't usually care about them.
That is a point.
I guess the way I see it, he sent them out with us, and realistically there's always a chance that something's going to go wrong, and in this case it went horribly wrong.
I mean, it was all narrow, like the braid and the thing. Like listen, we paid him. We told him we're going into literally hell, filled with demons. You sure you want to come?
He got to make sure his grandkids were sorted.
I feel like this is the Fogkima thing kind of all over again. Like, okay, there's a giant fog deity, it ate your people. We saved one of them.
Personally, I am angry that they blamed us for that. Like, literally, it came out of nowhere. How are we supposed to know?
And how are we supposed to be aware what happens if we leave the city after we get out of hell and there's just a holy war going on and one of the deities decide to specifically smite us?
That's why I say not our fault.
Remind me to buy elven plate mail.
Okay.
Remind me to buy equipment back.
Grim, remind me to get elven plate mail.
Because I'll remember.
Also, yeah, we talked with
Did we?
Pilgrim already.
I'm coming, Grandma.
Yeah, Rick's
I
supposed to.
posted in the message, the sending we sent to him, and his reply, and
Okay.
it just
That's right. He was pretty dismissive of it. I don't exactly. Okay, we did say we lost your help. All right, so I think that's pretty much our bases covered for what has happened.
I do believe we did upgrade Rick's armor in that note, and I'm assuming at some point I can gather dead bodies.
Sure, yeah, like you can replenish your skeletons with no issue whatsoever. Like,
Let's put out a poster, 2 gold for your dead body.
look, like if you are willing to pay for it, you will have a pile of them outside your mansion.
God.
Or large house or whatever. So I think, yes, we paid someone, or Adrian has paid someone to sort of do the fact-finding about our ritual to, become more than we are. Let's just say it's somewhat poetic. But he himself, one of the things that he was working on was creating a full plate or half plate set of mail for Rick out of, well, scavenged materials, quote unquote.
turn a goblin full plate.
Would I be able to put out feelers on that note to find magical plate mail?
Say that again?
Probably too expensive. Could I put out feelers for that elven plate mail? Probably too expensive nowadays, but still.
Very expensive nowadays. Again, not necessarily.
Enchanted. It's an enchanted plate mail.
It is, but ironically, elves are not a huge portion of the city. They certainly exist, but
like realistically, how much would that cost?
I do not know. I would have
That's
to
the magic
literally look and think. And I am not in a thinking mode right now, which is ironic.
I'll boost my AC. Get that 18 AC going. Mm-hmm.
So about 3 days or so into our week-long, or at least what was planned to be a week-long sojourn, we start getting letters from people. That's actually it's not so much letters, but we get people showing up to our doors. Hey, I was told that you have a job for me. I'm here to apply for it. And you're getting tons of people, or at least a fair amount of people. A lot of, frankly, commoners, people who you would not normally think to apply. But you are there is a good mix of actual candidates. And they appear to be under the lead of a person, whose name I certainly cannot pronounce without at least hearing it once. Zydron.
I'd say that, well, presumably some put out an ad saying that, hey, the Emporis Company needs people to help them conquer hell. Why the fuck would a commoner come apply for that job?
Because they're
oh my God.
paying well.
Money.
But you're going into literally hell and probably dying in hell.
Brayden did it. Money makes people.
But he was a specialist. We paid him a lot of money.
Besides, I mean, you're already here in hell. It's not like you're going to hell. You're already in hell. Or the abyss. which is slightly different. But yeah, this person shows up, and Zydrone can describe themselves for the rest of the group.
Well, as I step forward, I'm quite not heavy set, but a little bit bigger, like not Rick's size, but bigger than, say, Adrian or a human, Dragonborn, white Dragonborn. I'm not wearing too much, basically just a cloak. But I have a wooden spear with me as well.
He's only wearing a cloak. That's kind of a drafty, wouldn't you say?
Did somebody order the stripper again? Who ordered the stripper? Rick, is this yours?
Don't look at me just because I'm a dragon.
He or she, I missed that.
Well, I will say
Just look under the cloak and you'll see.
Yeah.
You gotta ask.
Dragons are always so ambiguous.
Alright, fair enough, hey.
Like, I swear I did not know Tiamat was a female until I played Neverwinter. But, yes, I introduced myself and say that I and... You said I'm
you
with
are
the
with
group,
the group, and you also have a cart
Yes.
laden with supplies. Is sort of a gift for the rest of the group, and you happen to have a number of what are hand-picked applicants for the party to go over.
I've come from the senator with some help for you lot. I've been told that there might be difficult times ahead.
Could you tell us which senator you sent you?
Totally. Strom told me sent me.
Oh, come on, and we were expecting.
Are you bringing the entire group in? There's about 20 people there. About 20.
How many? It was...
Give or take, because I didn't actually count.
Tell them to form an orderly line out.
Alright, so...
I
have a literal slew of applicants. I have handouts for all the people. I have tokens for all the people. I have pretty pictures for all the people. So I guess we will sort of introduce folks one at a time. We're not going to do necessarily a whole slew of lines from me, but if we are interested in people, we can go ahead and go from there. How does that sound?
You have to do all the voices.
That's exactly what I was going to ask for.
I am prepared to do all the voices. I do not necessarily wish to do all the voices.
Are there any kobolds in the group?
Kobolds in the group. The closest thing to a kobold, I suppose, would be a quickling that is in the group.
A quickling.
Well, not quickly.
Quicklings are fey creatures
They're
related
too
to
slow.
fairies. They are very, very fast, frankly. I'm going to just change to show the nameplate, and then save that as your new token. Otherwise, we will never remember, and it will always bug me.
We need to expand our outside patio on this
yeah,
map,
no
I think.
kidding. Like, who would have thought? I mean, I have a little bit more, but...
While each of the applicants introducing themselves and everything, I'll be standing basically in the doorway, leaned up against the door jamb. just watching and keeping an eye on, I guess, they're somewhat akin to my charges. Like, I've got to keep them in line as long as they're around.
Most of them listen to you fairly well. These are not folks who were just sort of picked off the street, although something did go out from Stromboli. Hey, we're looking for people. Most of these people are people you recognize in some way, shape, form, or another, of having some sort of business dealings with either Stromboli or with a business of his. It's not necessarily a first-hand dealing with, but it is, secondary, tertiary, etc.
It's an associate.
Are they all citizens, or are there some slaves in the mix?
They are mostly citizens. There are some slaves in the mix. But again, mostly citizens.
Yeah, I have a brand showing as well on my neck.
So let us see.
Wait, are you a citizen or a slave?
Well, yeah, slave, I guess, because I'm first generation. I came from another plane.
All right.
There you go, Taffel. You have your new slave body.
There we go.
Except I'm loyal.
Ho ho.
Stromboli's been paying well for the past few years.
So first we meet Spore. And Spore is a myconid of some sort. And she goes, hey everybody, I'm Spore. How you guys doing? You probably, we got sort of like this special bond thing going on. I know all about you. Like Dust. You guys remember Dust, right? You guys don't remember Dust.
How do you know that? How do you know that we know
Dust's
Dust?
like my dad. I mean, it's sort of like, sort of my dad, sort of like a brother type. It gets a little weird when there's like polyps and things, of that sort of nature. But we're all just family. Just family. I heard you guys were looking for a little bit of help, and I've worked a couple of odd jobs and stuff for some Stromboli, and I figured I could offer some services. I'm a druid. I mean, go figure. The whole interconnected with nature, and I'm sort of like a fungus thing. I have kind of like a stronger bond with it than like most people.
Hippie druid. Hippie.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
you say it like it's a bad thing, but we're all connected, in the circle of life, and that's just who we are, man. You gotta embrace it.
Does he look like a mushroom?
Pretty much. Did you guys get the handout? Okay.
I did, yeah. Out of character.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
yeah. Okay.
I can't hear anything, but she's definitely related to Dust.
Just saying, we need our own copy, Dust.
Yeah, I was going to say that any friend of Dust's is a friend of mine.
Can I go up to Z, the guy that brought them all, and say, can you? I mean, it's great to interview all these folks, but what are your take? Who do you like?
I mean, I've only spent short periods of time doing mission dealings with them in the past, and then just here.
So,
I mean,
can you do anything fancy, or do you just cart around the supplies?
oh no, I'm more of a how do you say? assured help. No matter what. Pick from here, I'll be coming.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Sorry, I had to switch to my phone. I'll be. I'm an assured. I'll be coming with you one way or the other if you take any.
So,
I see.
so you don't think you deserve the interview process?
It's not so bad. It's more.
I didn't hear what you said.
I'm from Stromtoli himself, as more of a personal guarantee.
Do you think any of the other people they sent are worth taking?
Each one will be worth whatever they're paid and more, no doubt. He wouldn't send you just cannon fodder, especially with what he's been looking for.
I'm liking the mushroom.
To be fair, I've always had a penchant for the myconoids myself too.
So what I'm going to do real quick, there's two things I can do, and let me ask the group. I could pop 420 into the DM private chat every time and give him a little bit of information about the candidates, or I could just directly say a little bit of information about the candidates. I'll be frank, I did not give 420 prepping on this, so he does not know strengths, weaknesses, abilities, things of that nature. Do we have a strong preference one way or another?
It'd be kind of interesting. Oh, continue.
No, you're good.
I would just say it'd be kind of interesting if you took him into the DM chat and us having to find out as we go along.
I'm cool with
It'd
that.
be kind of interesting. But whatever.
At the same
I
time,
don't have a
for the sake
strong
of,
preference.
It does
getting
sound
stuff
pretty cool.
done.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, it'll take a
Yeah.
little bit longer
It's
if
up
I
to
pop him
everyone.
in and out, but
I mean, I'm not going
Fair
anywhere, so
enough.
I'm okay with it. But if anyone
all
else
right.
has any
I'll try to keep
objections,
it short and
feel free.
simple then, but I'll pop him in. Back in a second.
Let's talk about them behind the back now.
Wait,
Oh
what?
shit, he's still here.
All right,
good.
so again,
Yes.
we'll just pop in back and forth. Dust is a druid, as I mentioned before. She's more sort of with the aspects of death and whatnot. She's from the Circle of Spores, which was the Ravnica thing, so necrotic
Yeah.
damage and all things
Yeah,
like that. Of course, cheerful demeanor, but she practically worships death.
So she would work well with the group.
She'd
then.
work fairly well, but she sees it as more of a natural order things. She's not a huge fan of the undead, which could make some interesting things between, Guts and Adrian, but neither is she angry, antagonistic, or anything like that.
On druid scale, like how far along is she? I suppose druid level wise, how many?
And for the most
does she
part, I
have?
think all of our characters are going to be right around level 6, give or take some. So they can sort of handle each other or handle themselves in a fight, but they are not, as good as you are.
Us.
She
Yeah.
is going to be set up to be more of a combat druid. Very few, core concentration spells, things like that. She's much less utility and more sort of in your face and deal some damage.
Yep.
Any questions about her?
Would I have worked with her? Like, how directly does she work with Stromtoli? Is she like dust to Hambone, where He's kind of like their
Yes,
Monkeenoid.
she would have worked closer with Strumtoli. She is not necessarily like super loyal to him, as loyal as I get the feeling that you may be, but she would have helped acquire at one point in time things along with you. Again, her and Dust fill different roles, but
I'll push. I already like her, so in character, I'm gonna push for her and make her, having been my friend already.
Sounds like a plan. All right, I'm gonna pop us back into the other.
Yeah.
All right. So now, man, Sidrowan's going to give a brief sort of like description of of Spore, and this is what we're going to do with all the applicants, you know, sort of, well, honestly, whatever information 420 wants to give out, you know, so make sure to ask him questions. If there's a question that comes up that 420 doesn't know at this point, I'll just answer it myself.
Yes. Well, I've worked a fair bit with Spore in the past. She's dependable, at least. She can handle herself well enough in a fight. She's good at it as well. She would be one to bring, and I personally would like to see her around. As I've said, I've had some dealings with her in the past.
So she's trustworthy, so we can check that off.
Ooh. She's trustworthy, but I assume you're in your Scully form. You're not like disguised or anything, Guts.
I mean, I'm in my own home, so no.
Yeah.
I'm not disguised.
Ooh, she follows the Druid Order of Spores, and she has kind of a firm fixation on life's natural progression into death, and she's not too fond of undead. She'll work with the likes of you, but she may not be.
So you're saying she's not attracted to my skeletons doing a mambo
She
in the
can
back?
get a little preachy.
No.
Well, good thing I can't hear it.
That's true. I forgot about that. You couldn't hear Dust because.
Yeah.
Oh, but. Yeah.
No, I can't hear nothing. So she's
I really, really like the idea of Spore just talking to you, asking you to change your ways and all that. It being a thing you can't control, but you not being able to listen to anything she says.
yeah.
Oh, Guts made a point, by the way. If I did the undead thing, since I'd have my organs and stuff still, would I be able to talk to them?
You'd
Gus
be
is
able
more
to,
just
I'd imagine.
Maybe
skeleton,
yes,
skeleton.
maybe no. That is somewhat uncharted.
You gotta find out. I was arguing with that. It's like, I don't think that's possible. Because, like, it's still dead tissue, so it's not, you're not...
Dead and undead are different.
I don't know, dude.
Tissue-wise.
It's still dead.
Well, the dead
Not
tissue
doing
actually
anything.
regenerate. Your bones heal, the skeletons heal, the zombies can heal.
We can get into the magics of it.
Oh, even the magic, you have natural regeneration. The skeletons have the same thing. That's sending hit dice. One of the racial things is boosting my temp HP by drawing on my source anyways.
But yes, just out of character as well. I think Dust would be cool. Not Dust. Spore would be cool to have along, and think how handy it would be having two druids, two shapeshifters.
Also, we can eat good
So-
berries.
I was always
Oh,
going to vote for that. I was always
But
going to vote for Spore.
we do have a lot of people to
Myconids
get
are
through.
the
Like, I
bomb.
wasn't
I got a
kidding when I
soft spot
said
for
we have
Myconids.
like 20
That's what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So can we
Yeah.
go ahead and move on and
we
just
can
check out some
pop
of the others?
her into the maybe room, and then we'll like look on from there. Okay, sound good? All right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
With me.
All right, so next we have Tack and where is he? Tigbog,
Tat
who
and
are
Take
a
Bog.
sort of pair, very unusual. Tack is more sort of a vessel for Tigbog, who is the great big book of everything. It is a sentient book. It does not know much about how or why it is. It just knows that it is. It is a caster. Tack is more of a fighter. Tack is considered the vessel. It's one of those things like Tack is an interpreter. He's reading what the book says out to people. It's, one of those things where, hey, you need to address the book, not me. I'm just saying what the book says kind of deal.
It's kind of cool.
It's interesting. Again, Tigbog. Tigbo, not Tigbog. Whoops. Is a caster, more of a sorcerer type caster rather than a wizard type caster. Again, fairly confident. Was believed to be a object of divinity at one point by Strumtoli, which is why we have them. Turns out is not an object of divinity.
Just a phantasmal book. What kind? Like, are they more support, utility?
They are.
Do they like fighting?
Tack, of course, he's more sort of utility. He's got some interesting, like, scribing and knowledge features. But Tigbo is the jack of all trades. There's a lot of spells within, a living book, as it were. It's just a matter of accessing them. It's not always what we want. Sometimes it's a little bit random of what we're doing. Not quite to the effect of, like, traditional wild magic, but sometimes we get things that are similar to what we want, but not necessarily what we want.
And Tigbog is the
book itself, which stands for the Great Big Book of Everything, but prefers to be called Tigbo. Tigbobo, I guess. Questions?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of what else. How much would I have dealt with them?
We can do it one of two ways. You could have either been instrumental in getting Tigbobo, or you could have just known about it from the side. It was another group that went out looking for the object of divinity, and you found it. Or it could have been you as part of the party that directly went out and received or got.
We'll go with the other one. I wasn't going to get that one, so I've had little dealings with them just because knowing two of them in a row really well.
All right. So the next applicant that comes up is a human male holding very reverently sort of this beautiful book. We've all seen ancient books, in pictures, and they tend to, frankly, spend a lot of money on, embellishment, things like that, the covers, etc., etc. This is definitely one of those books, and he's holding it out sort of in front of himself and is sort of idly flipping through the pages.
This is Tigbo and his vessel
Tack.
Tack. I forget his name sometimes.
Okay, what does
Wait,
Tigbo do? Sing and dance and juggle? What's he do?
Tigbo is quite wondrous. He's a bit different if you haven't noticed.
That,
So
mean?
the book is the being, right?
Yes.
Huh.
and the guy behind
Is
the
the
book
best.
is just being
Jack
controlled
is...
by the book.
No. He almost serves the book, interprets
I would like to think that I am a
Is his
conduit for the book.
So is this
as
like
Doc
a
says.
warlock type relationship?
Are there pictures in the book?
More of a of an
Can I read the book?
No, you may not. And if there are diagrams in Tigbabo, I have not found them as of yet. And also, I would thank you to address Tigbabo, and not me. As I mentioned before, I'm merely the vessel, the conduit of Tigbabo's thoughts and actions.
You were saying I'm more of a warlock, more of a to
Well,
Well,
I myself
Tigbabo.
am more of a fighter. Tigbabo, of course, as one might imagine, is a magic user, a caster of sorts.
Tigbabo is an anomaly. Stromtoli sent a group out to find it. Sometime found these two, thinking that it was one of these great powers that he chases. He was mistaken. Tigbabo is not quite that tier of power. He is still a sight, to be sure.
Well, Tigbabo, what can you do?
Tax sort of flips through the pages a little bit. What is it that you wish to be done? I have a great many powers. I can do a great many things. Spells, incantations, rituals. Of course, while it takes me some time to find it, I can do it.
I mean, currently we're looking for someone to fill a position of a healer.
or at least some anti-demonic uses.
Yeah, something along those lines. Because we're going to be, encountering demons and such.
Well, it will take some time for me to access that information. I believe I can do some of it. I must admit I'm not much in the way of a healer of you fleshlings, but
What is your specialty, so to speak?
Good are you at killing demons?
I imagine any fleshling dies pretty much the same as any other. Enough fireballs to its face and it will go down, I would imagine. But to answer your question, I'm more of a jack of all trades than anything very specifically.
You remind me of a rock I know. And I like you.
Well, it's certainly a consideration.
I think we take him just to make Grim play
Maybe.
a book.
Let me introduce you to Reg, and you two can have a nice conversation.
I vote yes for the book.
Yeah, I'm okay with the book, just for the sake of it.
He's pretty sweet. I kind of like it.
Brilliant concept.
All right, well, again, we'll pop him into the maybe pile, and then we'll see from there.
Because I can totally see the maybe pile
Into
turning
all
into
20
the yes
people?
pile.
Or... All right, back in a second.
You just made these good characters. You
Well,
pile
I
all
mean,
of them.
it's what I like to do. All right.
Did you want to bring out a healer. Hearing them actually mention that they're after a
Yeah,
healer,
you
if you've
know,
prepared one, I'd probably get that one to step
yes,
forward next.
we have a Whisper Goodwife. Again, because I don't do things by half measures, is a shadow, as in the being, cleric.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't really remember much about what she did before. She was a wife in some shape, form, or another in her past life. She's a cleric of the city now.
Okay. I suppose so she's more of just straight healing then, because I assume she wouldn't have too much she could do in combat.
Right.
Besides
She
that.
sort of has her normal powers as a shadow would happen. Her mere touch is toxic unless she wants
Pretty
it to
bad.
be healing. But other than being like a shadow, which is very strange, so she's obviously more of on the stealthy side and more of in the backline side, because they're not super strong. They can't take a beating if they have their weakness, but she is like a straight cleric.
Oh, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Um,
Sorry, what?
Okay. No, it's okay. I kind of click my fingers, and if it's a healer you want, then
hold on. I pop us
maybe
back into
whisper.
the other chat. All right, sorry.
I kind of click my fingers, and if it's a healer you want, then maybe whisper would be more akin to what you need.
Yeah, what is Whisper besides beautiful?
Next to me, a shadow appears, the monster shadow,
She's lovely. Yes.
and she's a cleric of the city. She follows the circle of life. I see the irony in it, a shadow also causing life, but she's good at her job.
Sold.
It's good to meet you.
It's definitely one of the things we need.
Is everyone doing well then?
Relatively, as one
that's
can
good.
do.
I'm a cleric, as was mentioned before.
Who do you worship?
I worship the city directly. It gives me my powers. I was a citizen before the accident.
Well, I guess, are you okay with high pressure, high stress situations? As in combat?
Sorta yes. I mean, it's hard to hurt me, and I'm not much of a fighter, as it were, but I'm, as you can imagine, sneaky as all get out.
Do you think you'll have much problems since we'll leave probably a few days out from the city with your powers?
There may be some troubles for a while, but if the city is here for as long as it's going to be here, likely, well, the city in its infinite glory and wisdom, it will spread its power across the plane.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So, hypothetical situation. There's a young, innocent slave child, and there is an old, cranky citizen that is just a nasty person. You have to choose one to die. Which do you choose?
Are they both in good health?
Nope. The citizen is in poor health and has lived a terrible life, but he's a citizen of the city. Then you have the young, healthy, innocent child that is a slave. One of them needs to die. Which dies?
That's a difficult question for me. I suppose my teachings would be that the citizen has to live. But the citizen is going to die anyway, so
here, let me show you something outside, and I lead it outside and then shut the door. Next.
Go back, open.
Oh,
No, we can't let Deadpool make those. We need this guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna run outside and say, no,
Yeah,
come back in here.
Yeah. Don't listen to him.
Her.
You're so
The
small.
slave.
You're
here.
so small. I could stand
Slave.
on you.
All right. We pick Deadpool up by the back of her clothes and like set her on the.
Hey, let me down.
That's all right. Leave it alone. Let her live.
Did I do something wrong? Or
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't mind her. She's like that with everyone.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
Don't worry
she's-
about that. It's
she's-
just a problem.
She's new to the city.
We try not to let them make decisions.
They keep biting through the muzzle. It's a pain to buy new ones.
I see.
We actually really need someone who can heal. So you're the best participant that's come through so far. So please don't let his actions ruin this.
I believe she's a girl.
Yeah, but it annoys her when I say
So
She do be
should,
like that,
should
though.
I go or
Yes.
but
No.
You definitely stay.
Absolutely go.
Whisper, go wait with Spore and
all right?
Tadpole, maybe she'll talk with Reg.
All right.
maybe she'll merge with Reg and we'll get a clear
God.
shadow crab.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Let's see. How's about the ogre family? Thrub, Dub, Zub, and a club.
I'm just introducing them as dubstep.
They're big dumb ogres. I don't know what you want. Again, useful in a fight. That's pretty much it. They are sort of just showing up. They are slaves to the city. They're ogres. Thrub is more or less the leader and has, some modicum of intelligence to him. The other ones, not so much. They're more sort of typically what one would expect from an ogre.
I bet the party's absolutely tripping balls as they see these two about to
Four,
be
yeah.
four fucking.
They are sort of a
Volatile
package
creatures.
deal.
Being a family, yeah, that'd be understandable. So I suppose they're all basically just
Yeah,
some form
yeah.
of fighter.
Nothing fancy with them.
Yeah. Yep. So are they like recent slaves?
They've been slaves for a while.
So they're comfortable in slavehood and everything.
Yeah, not necessarily comfortable. This, frankly, the idea is for them to appeal a little bit more to Tadpole, because I knew this would happen.
Oh yes, I saw it happening too. I was like, oh, this is going to be a lot of antagonizing.
But yeah, they're heavy lifting. They're smart. They do what they are told, basically.
Yeah.
And
They are just meat.
Yep, they're a little
the
bit stronger than your average ogre. You know, city life is pretty tough, but, you know, they're nothing super fancy.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, I also feel like a slave trader.
Yeah,
with all these beers.
it's kind of like the overarching theme, I feel, of our sessions.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, let's do it.
Thing. Except we all know their names this time.
And as you have noticed, coming in, kind of, you know, stepping down into the doorway and hunching in through the doorway a bit, 4 ogres come in.
Oh god.
This
Wipe your
is
feet.
our resident ogre family. Dub, Thub, Zub, and Club. They are big, they are meaty, they are strong. There is not much about them besides they are ogres. They listen well, they do their jobs well, but don't expect any critical or higher thinking from most of them. Thub, he can hold a conversation better than the others.
Thub's pretty smart.
He can at least string words together, as you've seen.
I think we take Thub and tell the 3 others
What is
to
a
leave.
Oh, I think we take them all.
Yeah, Tadpole, you
Package
can be in
deal.
charge of them.
They're a package deal that it's kind of a family thing. They don't leave each other.
Me brothers come with me.
I
guys
don't
know-
want to be in charge of 4 of those, so if someone else wants them, they're not my problem.
You guys know Hambone at all?
No, we don't know no ham bone. I mean, we know ham bone. It's pretty tasty.
Do you want some minions, Tadpole?
I just think these guys might be good to have in a fight.
Whether it makes
Yeah,
any difference.
I was just like,
Sorry.
I just think.
Go ahead.
Go guts.
Oh, no, I was just making a throwaway comment.
Whether
That
it
wasn't
makes any
important.
difference or not, they are all 4 branded as slaves.
Have some friends, Tadpole.
Yes.
But one of you,
Yeah.
there will be your
Are there any questions about them? I mean, they are pretty self-explanatory. They're
Yeah,
big
I-
ogres.
Yeah.
Do they eat a
I
lot?
like to eat. It's pretty good.
More than likely. Yeah.
That would be my biggest concern.
I can create food and water though, and I
Plus the
create, like,
entire floor.
25 pounds.
Put them in the maybe section, I think.
Sure, why not?
They put them in the outside maybe. See.
Yeah, the
We
outside.
can't come in.
We don't have enough room.
You can't sit. There's not enough seats. You'll destroy any seat you sit on. If you walk
Club can
upstairs,
barely
you'll
get
fall through
through
the
the door.
floors.
We could sit on the seats real careful, like.
I have a seat you can sit on. And I bring Wally out.
No.
That don't look like a seat. That look like a wall of bone mans.
Can I
I
shape
mean,
it into a
stop.
seat?
See, he's a real Einstein. Not that they're. What is Einstein?
He thinks a seat is a wall.
Right?
Can I make the wall look like a seat?
Don't kill the ogres.
It's modern art, guys.
But it would be funny. If it looked like a seat, he would sit in it.
I've sat on a
If I
bone
fit,
seat
I
before.
See?
Why does he sound like Forrest Gump?
But yeah, we don't have the ogre-sized accommodations in here. The seats. We do have the warehouse outside with all the straw in it. That's where you guys can wait. if you
Okay,
want to.
we'll wait there. We'll go into maybe pile. try to crowd in.
Can you just imagine?
I
the
imagine they've gone outside and like just piled on top of each
They're
other.
like dragging
and
sections
told
of
to go to the
broken
maybe
walls
pile.
from the surrounding buildings and sitting inside on them. In a bit, kiddo. The next time we go on break,
Actually,
alright?
good.
When's the next?
I don't know.
I'll just be playing it in a little while.
Okay.
Why don't you know?
I think everybody's gonna go into the maybe pile here.
Yeah. You've made
I
some pretty
love
good
making
characters,
characters.
though. I mean, the ogres are kind of stock standard. The other three are all pretty unique.
Okay, here is Torin. Torin is a tiefling who is a sort of a sound mage. Imagine if they took Bard and was less about making music and doing things like that, and more sort of doing damage with the very concept of sound.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of
Yeah.
rules for around there. I suppose usual questions. How close is she to Strontoli? Have I worked with
Tertiary at
her?
best for
What's she do?
her. She's
So she's one of the ones who heard that he was looking for someone to send to
it was
the
in
group,
like
and
sort of one of his
showed up.
businesses or something like that, doing things, but not anywhere near directly. She barely knows what's going on. She just knows that there's an opportunity to make a ton of money.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah, I wouldn't know too much about her myself then
Yeah.
anyway, so I'll just introduce her.
So, Graham, do those count as one or
What do you mean?
four? In terms of the 20-person list you said?
Again, I don't know. I didn't actually count. I think they count as 4, but I'm not
It's
sure.
just a list.
Like about 20,
Torrin. Come.
She steps through the door. She is a tiefling, rather flamboyantly dressed. I do not know. Did I show you guys the handout?
Yes, it's
Yep.
Yes.
She is.
It says her name is Ardency. I don't know what you're talking about.
Her name is not Torin? Oh, the actual
No,
it
character?
is.
Who
She-
knows,
on
man?
the
I
pic.
steal art. Oh, yes, I see that. She is. You wouldn't know.
She's a noisy mage.
She nods her head and says, "It's true. I'm somewhat in between a bard and a mage. The less utility aspects of it. I don't go in much for the subterfuge that a typical bard might engage in. Instead, I deal more with sort of the raw power of noise, sound, and its like."
I can't say too much about her myself, sorry. I've only met her maybe in passing in the past. She turned up when Strontoli asked for volunteers for this group.
Can you show me something fancy?
I could blow out your eardrums. That's pretty fancy.
I can already do that.
Anything?
Yes. So I could probably make a sound wave large enough to knock everyone in here on their ass. Ooh, I have to.
That one.
Oh, no.
I can't cuss in front of my daughter. I'm sorry. However, suffice it to say that Torin is interlacing her speech with obscenities and profanity. Although in the interest of being a PG household, I will not do such at said time.
I like the cut of your jib, but how efficient do you think you would be against magic-resistant swarms of
She
demons.
sort of shrugs. I've never met anything or heard of anything that's resistant to sound as long as it can hear.
That's true. They're more fire and like energies, or like primal energy resistant, but they still do have a general resistance to magic. It's kind of a pain. I like his headset on.
Slave
Yeah.
or free?
Free. You're quite a motley crew yourself. What are we signing on for here?
I kind of look at the
Didn't-
group expectantly
What do you
too.
mean?
Didn't Stromdoli?
Yeah,
the
no,
details,
I've
Steve?
heard we're looking for a group to go out and plunder the abyss of all of its treasures, make ourselves filthy rich in the meantime, but there's always an angle being played.
Well, that's definitely part of it.
He's getting us out to go look for things in the abyss.
He's looking for
And
certain powers, artifacts, even of a certain brand.
Yeah. he's looking for divine things.
Her eyebrows sort of shoot up.
You know, consolidating his power, magic items, all that stuff. They're the usual thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Let's be honest.
Right.
Can you heal?
Yeah.
Not so much.
And the main issue out of character with her is that, well, she probably has. Her magic probably wouldn't be resistant by damage wise. I'm not sure if a lot of things are resistant to thunder. But she is still, you know.
Yeah, for the
If it's,
record, 5e does
like,
most things as like
saves.
thunder damage for sound-based stuff.
Yeah, so thunder would be a good element to have, but at the same time, stuff will still resist any of her saving throw spells.
Yeah, but anytime there's a cone of silence or anything like that, she becomes useless.
But to be fair, I don't think demons really have that spell. She's definitely something for more of a distraction if we need it.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Are we going
Yeah,
into the
we'll
yes
send-
pile, the no
send
pile,
it.
the maybe pile?
No.
I'd vote for
Right.
her to go towards no.
Yeah, I say no, but get her content details.
Okay, we'll put her in the other room for the no pile. And
I mean, even in character, I probably wouldn't have vouched for her because I haven't worked with her or
Right.
anything.
But we keep
And-
in mind when we have to like rob a bank or something, we need to blow something up, you know?
sure.
Yeah.
All right, give me like 30 seconds to use restroom. I'm so sorry.
I'm writing her name down,
Torin.
What's her name again?
It should be labeled.
Torrin.
Throw in the noise page.
But like I for sure want Whisper.
Oh yeah.
No, not quite.
Take the
And
ogres.
I'm kind of partial to lost the name, but
Spore or
the book.
Bebo. Bebo.
The book's unique.
But,
The book's cool.
Until it rains.
I think the magic book would be waterproof. My book's waterproof.
Yeah, resistant to damage.
Yeah, hey, go get me that brazier over there, Tadpole.
There is no way in hell you could destroy that book.
Tadpole, get a brazier or something to burn
Can't whistle
stuff.
either.
Keep,
Kai?
keeping in mind, I mean, Tech's only a vessel for the
Huh?
book, but he's still
No.
Oh yeah, he's still a fighter.
somewhat of a fighter. Yeah, like he's not a frontliner.
It's basically
To say,
kind
but
of
he can-
similar to what
He
I
can
would
not
be doing.
instantly get nuked.
Yeah, like he's similar in a fashion to my level 11,
But what if I was
which is
hasty?
Steel Vic's body. I mean, what?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I like the ogres, and my character would not like the shadow, but I think the shadow healer is probably the best.
Yeah.
Tactful
my
isn't
character
like
doesn't like it.
anyone that's not a slave.
Basically.
Except for you
I
guys.
don't like. Rick doesn't like the ogres because that's my job. Hey, we've already got you guys. We don't need.
But
So
if they
Rick doesn't
die,
like the ogre.
we have
Imagine
undead ogres then.
4 more.
If anything,
Barbarians,
I would only want one of them, but you can't take just one of them.
they'll be good for heavy lifting too. They're a size above you.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, welcome back.
All right. So next up is Hart the Barbarian. He is more or less on the straight barbarian size. He, however, is very experienced. He has worked directly with Stromtoi in a number of occasions, and if you were to believe him and believe rumors, he's actually stronger than you all.
Stronger
party.
than. Oh.
So you would have heard rumors of just how good he is. He certainly comes with magical weapons, as it were, a flail and a dagger. Short sword. Told. He is a citizen, but he is first generation citizen, so relatively new to it all, and not super well established in the city.
But he would have done enforcement.
Yes, he would have done, the collection work, which is the same sort of work that you have done, which is, looking out for these objects of divinity, securing them, so on and so forth throughout the plains.
Oh, I'll have him as someone else that I've, created somewhat of a friendship with.
He would definitely be a person who would have led a team. And so there may be some clashings with not leading in the team personality-wise. He is quick to suggest, quote-unquote, tell people what to do and things. And oftentimes it's very... it's the right thing to do, but he's may not mesh into the party super well.
He's rough with
Yes.
how he goes about it. That could still be some interesting RP though. I suppose that's the basis of it.
You know what I mean?
Next.
I was saying we're kind of like the tab was like, well, we're gonna have issues with ordering and stuff like that. But I'm like, we're probably gonna be doing more of a camp thing. I think all of them would be useful in comp. Like just speed's probably more of a side.
Well,
line, you know what I
one of
mean?
the questions that I had afterwards were how are we going to want to do things? Because these are people who can also help take some strength off of us in combat. One of the things that I liked about our more, frankly, sloggy combat sessions, because, it made for more of a challenge. You had a harder time doing it. So I liked it. And so one of the things to do to make it easier, though, even though it also makes it longer, is introducing NPCs that can somewhat take care of ourselves. And there's a couple of different ways we can do that. We can ideally have you all be in charge of one of the NPCs in combat as well. So they will sort of be one-to-one, your hireling. You take care of their actions. You are effectively controlling two characters as it comes to combat, which was sort of my idea for it, but not necessarily the way we have to go.
Yeah, see, the thing is, we already have 2 hags, we have a water elemental, and we'll have zombies already. So, there are already NPCs that most of us control.
Well, the hags don't do much in combat. The water elemental definitely
Well,
does.
also keep in mind that we don't have to take everyone as well. I mean,
Yeah.
You could theoretically take everyone. You could theoretically take no one. I mean, these people do have their own wants and needs. They will be wanting to get paid in some way, shape, form, or another. We're sort of not at that point yet.
All right, let's hear the next one.
This one is hot. He's, well, honestly, probably stronger than you. And I'm looking directly at Rick, and then I look at the rest of
very
the party
much
at the
doubt
same
it.
time. My eyes travel across the whole party as I'm talking to the entire party. He's led expeditions of his own before and come back quite successful multiple times. He's a first generation, but he's already gathered a fair bit of renown, let's say. He's got a bit of a reputation, and he would believe, and quite a number of other people would believe that he's stronger than you.
Do I know anything
I'm
about
not
him?
one
You
of
said he's
those
developed some kind of a... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not one of those people.
So he's a slave. Have I heard of him before in
He's
my
first
circles?
generation citizen, so he's technically a servant.
Oh,
which,
he's a citizen.
is
Okay.
something we don't deal a lot with, meaning his parents were slaves, but he himself was born in the city. You did look
Remake.
into Stromtoli a little
Sorry.
bit, so you would have heard some about him. He works for Stromtoli directly. He tends to go out a lot. He is in the city very little. He generally leads, groups of when Stromtoli has something he needs to go out and get into the city. And that's probably as much as that you would have heard from him. Typically, he is the leader of a party. But past that, you didn't look into him specifically, so you probably wouldn't know too much more other than...
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Rick might be able to have a wrestling buddy.
I guess my question for you, Hart,
Is he cocky?
around a court we recommend.
No. Like it's a thing that other people say as well when comparing to the Imperatus Company, is that quite a few other people have started and spread around rumors that he is stronger than, I will say, us, because Janian would have been part of that, because not many people know he's dead yet. But yeah, like
He's
that's
stronger
why
as in physically stronger, just like in sheer
I've
might.
been doing this for a while. It's no reason to get, your dander up. Everyone starts somewhere. But I did the same. I've been doing this for decades.
I guess my question is, why are you here? Why not get your own
pretty,
party?
I'm pretty strong myself.
Well, all right, Cub. Don't take it as an insult. I was asked to come here personally by
Guts...
Stromtoli.
Okay, that answers the question, because Guts is... Yeah, good question, Guts.
Typically, as my friend mentioned before, I do lead parties of my own, and we go out and we do things that you are doing today, and he sort of gives you all a meaningful look in the eye. So
would you have a problem taking orders from a slave?
he sort of shrugs and said, my parents were slaves. I didn't have a problem listening to them. But again, I have my own ways of doing things, and I have a lot of experience doing them. If something is stupid or a bad course of action, I won't hesitate to tell you that it's stupid or a bad course of action. I want to go out and find these things, yes, but even more than that, I want to come back home alive.
I hate to say it, but I kind of
you've
like
had
this
experience looking for these things for
I have.
before.
We've
I would
worked
think
together
that
a
you
number
would
of times.
be a very valuable contribution to our team if this is something you've done before, because you probably have more idea than any of us here combined. Because we went out there and we did not know what we were looking for.
He sort of shrugs.
Is your strength lie in your brain or your brawn? In the arcane or in steel?
Not to say that I'm an idiot by any means, but the finger waggling is not something I'm particularly adept at.
No, I was just wanting to know if your power lied in the arcane or in weapons.
Rippling abs.
He looks like a more ripped version than the Prince of Persia.
It does look like the Prince of Persia, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Definitely could use someone with his experience, I think, especially in this unique situation, considering what had happened to us last time.
Yeah, I definite.
Out of character, there's the downside. He's technically one of Stromboli's closer workers, if we ever have an issue with him, but definitely someone that would help us this time out.
Just saying, so am I. Just out of character.
For what?
In tight with Stromboli? He's in tight with Stromboli?
Yeah. Rather close to... Well, not necessarily close, but I'm loyal to Stromboli.
But if one full megalomaniac.
I mean, as far as my character can see, he's just doing what he's always done.
Fair enough.
Okay, I like this guy. Right now, the Shadow, which I don't like as a character, I think I like as the player.
So,
is probably the top, and then this guy's number 2 in my book.
And then the meat shields.
And then the meat shields. Yeah, that's my top 3 so far.
So maybe yes, no.
Yes.
We think a definite yes.
I think
I would say how it would be.
Well, let's do no definite yeses until we hear everybody. So put them in the maybes.
All right. Oh, good dokily. Next we have, looking down my list, we have Amber. Amber is another odd one. Amber is a slime who is sentient. She is, again, sort of like a tertiary or secondary type thing. You know, she's maybe gone out once before, but yeah. You don't know much about what she does, how she does it, but again, she's basically a slime that somehow has the ability to take human form. Whether it's a race like that or she is like a straight slime, you're not entirely sure, and she has never given, opinions or told or anything like that. She does talk.
Like she's sentient enough that she can talk.
She does not
somehow
like to talk. Yeah, it's very sort of thick and bubbly. We'll see what happens with the voice when I do it. Whether my throat can handle it, but yeah, she has all those sort of slime things where, she can squeeze down, get into tight places and all that. If you had to take a guess, you would guess more sort of thiefy. Not necessarily straight thief, but with the ability to do thiefy things. And of course, her motives are more or less unknown, whether it's, hey, go do this or what.
So she's just more of a wild card. Sweet.
Excuse me. Hi.
Hi.
Amber, your time now. Come on.
So what comes through the door is a vaguely female in form or shape person who is sort of dripping and oozing, as it were.
Oh, I get out my towels and my stuff, and I
She isn't
start
necessarily
cleaning up.
dripping or oozing everywhere, but her body is very fluid.
I just gotta say, I'm surprised.
Would you like a glass of water?
She shakes her head no and puts her hands up and nah.
Just suck her
She-
thumb, which is good.
Doesn't talk much. She can, but she prefers not to. She's well, I haven't actually dealt with her directly. She seems like she could get into small spaces easy enough, I guess.
She sort of taps herself on the chest with the, sort of wet sound and slime.
Do you
What's
know
her-
if she... Go ahead.
That's what her specialty was.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go for.
She's a slime. She does
Well-
slime things, I assume, looking at her almost questioningly.
What can your slime do? Is it corrosive slime? Can you melt doors?
She shakes her head no. Heads over to the side, shuts the door, and then sort of slips underneath it. It's sort of a weird thing where she sort of shrinks in under, goes through, and then pops out the other side, and then opens the door and steps back out.
She does slime things.
She sort of points to you and nods her head.
How is she in a fight?
I'd guess slimy.
I imagine would probably try and avoid fighting more. She should be more of your need to do that with a locked door kind of deal.
Okay. Kind of you specialized, kind of highly specialized.
Well, assuming she can hold a sword or a dagger, she could no doubt swing it, but I mean, I don't think she has any overbearing magical qualities besides being able to slip under a door and being a completely sentient slime.
She sort of looks at Adrian and Guts and points at you two, and then sort of manipulates her body and her hand into a weird shape. Give me a medical check, if you would, please. Those two,
Who?
Adrian and Guts. Oh, God.
Save the day, Guts.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
You two just got coronavirus in game. Well done.
Can't have now I want to get Lyme disease. Can't have corona.
Like, she
without the
sees
Lyme.
that you two look like very confused, and so she's sort of looking around in exasperation and sort of like mimics to shove her own arm down in her throat or her mouth, and then sort of does the same and sort of fills it up, and
You can go inside us.
she sort of wetly snaps her fingers.
Do you want a roommate, Guts?
And then she shakes her head. No.
What happened?
I'm not sure. I'm not following. What are you trying to say?
She looks exasperated. She sees some of the skeletons that are lounging around behind you, and she goes over to one of them and sort of, if it's not protesting, it shoves her arm down its throat and sort of mimics like filling her or the skeleton's insides with her. in her lungs.
Oh, that's nasty.
Suffocate people.
Oh, she can drown things from inside.
I walk
Demons
out, and
drown.
come back in with a bucket and a mop, and hand it to her.
She
Let's see if she's useful at all.
sort of looks at it blankly. And steps inside the bucket.
But does she
Not
fit-
what I was
does the
hoping,
imp-
but
Does the entirety of her fit in the bucket?
I mean, she's sort of like standing out of the bucket.
slave?
She nods. Yeah.
That was a question. I like her. Let's take her.
You would like her.
I pick up her in the bucket and walk her into the room that Torin is in. Just wait here.
An eyebrow is definitely raised at you doing that. She doesn't weigh much either as you're doing it.
Well, I've
Yeah,
got
but
a
either
strength
way,
of 25, so
She does not weigh much.
Yeah.
So yay, nay. Maybe.
yeah, we'll put her as a nay with Torin.
It's like, I like her. Let's put her in the no.
I mean,
Oh, one-trick pony kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'm not the greatest rogue, but I do have lockpicking tools. So
And you did lockpick everyone in a giant chain gang.
this is true.
Yeah.
All right, next.
okay. Let's see. Next, we have. Chasutin, who is a Zix-Chill
Chisu.
monk. If I can.
Monkey.
Obviously, a noble of the city.
Yes.
Again, as a whole race, they're given to engineering. He himself is a monk. Again, you wouldn't necessarily know a ton about him. He would be one of the ones who is sort of looking for work, looking to explore. More of a curious type of personality. He's interested in seeing things. And,
Mm-hmm.
when are you going to ever get a chance to go explore in the abyss?
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you come risk your life?
Well, interestingly enough, they
Yeah,
think that if
sounds
they
good.
die, they'll just return to the city.
Oh, okay.
And he,
Is that just Chasutin or
yeah, it's
Zix-Chill in
Zix-Chill in
general?
general. They think that if they die elsewhere, they will return to the city in some way, shape, or form, whether it's their spirit, their soul. They think that the city will be their final resting place.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then, yeah, might as well go out
Yeah.
and die in the abyss. Oh, sounds good.
And the advantage of them is they have those spores. They can be like a telepathic link too, kind of thing, within a distance. So
It
is this
is.
true?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Chasutin. He's a city builder, obviously. He's a not so much a traveler, but he wants to be. He wants to get out and explore while he can.
There's so many interesting things out there. I would be foolish to not go out and explore them for myself.
Do I recognize him as a monk?
You would. He carries himself in a certain way, not necessarily a monk, but certainly a practitioner of martial arts. He is definitely a monk. OOC, but
that is
yeah.
definitely something that martial artists can see.
I'm going to walk to the other side of the room and then pull up my bow and shoot at him.
Oh my
So,
god.
like, I don't actually have character sheets written up for all these people or things.
But you know what I'm trying to do, right?
So what we're gonna do,
Deflect missile.
because again, I don't know exactly what talents I would take. Is deflect missile is a thing that you like need, right? It's not a standard thing.
It's always
It is a default. Again, I'm not super familiar with.
It is a default. You get it like level 3 or something. I think.
Yes, he would catch it out of the air.
Okay. Yeah, he deflects it. If he rolls a 0, he actually can catch it and throw it back at me. Or if he rolls a critical.
Well, we can roll a d20.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I just wanted to see.
He was an 18.
I want to see Tadpole get pinned to the wall. Roll that die.
He would have to be a what to throw it back? Again,
Here, let me,
I hit an 18.
Let me link it real quick here. I'm trying to find it here.
About the attack roll or the monk thing? Because I can find the monk thing.
Like, I started doing character sheets for everybody, but then I was like, man, 20 people.
1d10 plus dex plus 1
and the goal is what?
The attack damage.
Oh,
so
yeah,
7.
he definitely... I got an 18. Just straight roll.
From a 1d10?
Oh, 1d20.
So does he throw it right back at me, or does he not? I guess the question is, does he throw it back at me?
I will hear.
Or does he just hold on to it?
He would probably throw it back at you, but not exactly, like, to hit you. He wouldn't want to, you know...
Sure. Okay.
He'd be able to make it embed in the door next to you.
As you somehow shoot through the staircase. I'm just messing.
Is he tall?
No, they're relatively short. They are a bit taller than you, but, you know, they're about 4 feet.
Okay. Since I know a bit about monks, I want to ask, what type of a monk are you? What do you specialize in? Are you a student of death? Are you a student of drinking? Are you a student of the sun? What type of monk are you? Where have you? What kind of training have you received?
I've been known to have a drink or two under the right circumstances. Or 1 or 2 dozen.
Hi. Okay. Is he a slave?
Noble. He's Zextrill, yeah.
He's
They're
Zextrill.
the
He's
original inhabitants of the city, or so it is believed.
Okay. You can go sit over there with Amber and Torrin.
Don't listen to him.
Her.
Him. Him.
It's hard to tell with kobolds, you know? Everything's internal anyways.
Don't be looking at my dress.
Did I tell you guys that when I was looking for character portraits and I typed in, did you see it, that I typed in Tiefling Thief and the Google like autofilled it to Tiefling Thought?
Yeah.
Be gone! Thought!
The third one for me. And then it's this Thingiverse and then Thought Shirt. What is it?
Hilarious.
I'm gonna. Do we want to take a quick 5-minute break? Feel like a coffee.
Sure.
Or Grim can just introduce.
Yeah, well, I'm probably
the
gonna
next one if
fill
no
with
one
coffee
else.
as well. So Chusutin, yes, no, maybe.
So he's a monk of the Drunken Master? Yeah, okay. I mean, they could be good, but
There's
I
too
think
much
voting
thought
no
about it.
because we've already got him.
Put him with Amber and Torrin because there's too
Yeah.
much thought about it. Everyone who's gone
Yeah.
into the maybe has been an almost guaranteed yes
Okay.
already anyway.
Yeah.
All right. And I will refill my coffee real quick and be right back. But before that,
you
like,
refill your coffee
we're
and then
fine
we'll
with
my
this. I mean,
bladder.
this is a thing that's taking a while, but we don't feel like we're
Yeah, no, this is. I
Yeah,
figured this
okay.
would be our session, most likely.
just to be open about it. All right, back in a moment.
Yeah, AFK for a minute.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna go roll a smoke and make a coffee and change my phone.
Time to work some more. Can you do what? You can ask mommy something for a second. What did you ask her? Well, come and get your book, and you're going to read your 20 minutes now. We're going to take a break from online.
Did you do your worksheet?
She hasn't done. You did one worksheet, right?
Excuse me. Okay, I will just go ahead and since I believe 420 is not back, I will just introduce the next myself. Are we all back, or?
I am. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how many
Well,
people.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm back.
I was doing this thing I've been doing all day trying to figure out this fucking employment thing. It's like, hey, go to your overview page. It claim is claiming your claim has been put, but there's no button that says that, and it just keeps leading me in the same pages. I'm so confused.
So the next person to come forward is a young woman. She introduced herself, or is introduced, as Sue Troplin. She is an artificer of sorts. She is sort of, not necessarily surrounded, but accompanied by small mechanical mechanisms of sort of like strange little spider things that sort of are scuttling about in close proximity to her.
I whistle and have my spiders come down from the ceiling.
She gives you a nod, and
It's not a contest.
hello. I'm
It is a
Sue.
contest.
I was told you were assembling a party of sorts, or more members to a party.
Yes, we're invading the abyss.
Yes,
What you bring to
gathered.
the party?
Well, as you may notice, I'm an artificer. I create weapons, creatures, things to serve a purpose. Typically scouting inner areas, things like that through. They can be decent when it comes to a fight. I have some things up my sleeve. I know a little bit about gunpowder, of course, which is, magic without magic.
It's the party. She's very professional.
It was gunpowder, though.
You would probably know it under a different name, but you mix it, you light it on fire, and it explodes.
Janian was
Kind of like a fart.
Was Janian's cannon gunpowder?
Ostensibly, yes. More along the lines of a fireball, rather than a fart.
Can't believe that had to be said.
Wow. Interesting. Slave?
No, citizen.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Here, let me show you this room over here on to the right.
Right, well, before you shuffle me off, what is it that you need, as goes, that you are looking for?
Well, how useful do you think you would be against demons and the like of that in the first place? We're trying to find certain, besides general plunder, certain items, objects, or entities.
I'm not stupid. We are in the abyss. I realize the kinds of things we will be facing outside. I wouldn't be going out unless I was prepared to deal with them in some shape, form, or fashion.
How do you do against creatures that have resistance to magic weapons?
Resistant to magic weapons?
Or resistant to weapons unless they're magical.
I should be fine. A lot of the objects that I can create, the mechaninations, are at least partially magical in nature. Mind you, what there is no replace for another person, but sometimes it can be useful to have, well, not eyes and ears per se, but sensory appendages elsewhere.
Probably be able to help us with securing the area better too, or scout out a little bit better.
Indeed.
Yeah. She could actually come in pretty useful for that. And man, in the abyss, you do need to kind of keep a wider radius to.
Plus, I'm sure there are metals unthought of by the rest of humanity out in the abyss. Of course, only rumors exist of it, but I'm quite certain they exist. Imagine what alloys you could create.
How well do you or your creations see in the dark?
Personally, not extremely well on my own. There are items I can create which would help with that, where of course I can fashion lights. But as I were a base person, not extremely well.
I'd say a definite maybe / yes for the tech engineer, the gadgeteer.
I agree. Maybe / no for the tech person.
Do you have any references?
I believe the fact that I am here is reference enough through our mutual acquaintance of Stromtoli Emberfury.
Yeah, how many words a minute can you type?
I believe somewhere around 120 or so. I'm not too bad.
All right. Well, wonderful.
A
beautiful, comfortable chair off to the right.
Well-oiled typewriter.
Oh, well, there are such inventions. Printing press, of course. There's much easier ways to do it all. If you've got some time, we could sit down and discuss about it a little bit.
Sure. Why don't you discuss it with Amber over here?
We don't have time at the moment, but we can talk about this in the future.
Of course. It was more of a joke than anything.
Oh.
You sound so disappointed.
I'm all for any more fellow crafters like myself.
Rick
What do you
just
think,
wants to
Guts?
learn to read him.
Yes, no, maybe.
Guts? What do you think, Guts?
I want to put that in the.
I think it could
Stop
be
it,
useful,
Dad,
but there are also people I feel like that. I think I put more
And
high
look,
up
you
on
know,
Rick.
even if we
They're
go
like-
into the no pile, it doesn't mean it's no. You're not murdering them at the end of this, you know.
I don't agree on the walls in that room. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
I'm gonna say no for now.
So we're leading.
I'm a lefty. What's your opinion, Rick?
But
At least with
yeah, I
security,
really don't
think.
know. I kind of like how she's good, how she can help out in security.
She can't
But
see in the
I
dark
don't
without
really
the lights. That's
She can
not
make
very
it-
good
she's
security.
got
She
things-
can make night vision
she's got
goggles.
things
She's
that
got
can-
all the
yeah.
robots.
And
Yeah, I know, but the robots
can,
need lights, which
No,
are
the
not very good
robots,
for
the
stealth.
robots can see in the dark.
She's saying she physically can't, but she can make goggles and no robots can.
Oh.
And she can make robots that can see in the dark, so
Or in
she
this
will
case,
actually be
sensors like
helpful.
sensors or alarms around any place we can.
Yeah.
My daughter would love to do a sound effect of a robot spider scuttling
Okay.
for you.
What?
Okay. Think of it as a robot scuttling. I don't know. You got to tell us what it sounds like. Like it's one of those things and it's scuttling about. What do you think it sounds like? You got to do it into the mic. Little beepings.
Beep boop beep beep
See, I think more of a scream, like metal shifting,
beep boop beep.
and then little
beep,
tappings.
Beep boop beep beep
She
scream.
doesn't know what steampunk is, though.
All right, good job, kiddo. High five.
Where are they?
They're at their home right now,
But you can.
doing job interviews.
Can you have snack, Daddy?
Yeah, we certainly are doing job interviews.
Okay.
Ask Grandma for a snack.
Well, I mean, put her in the maybe. That's fine. I don't think she's brings a lot to the table, but doesn't mean we're going to keep them.
Sure, of course. All right. Oh my. Let's see. Next we have. Duskin, whom is a quickling warlock. You would have some experience with Duskin. She's fey. She's very quick to talk, all that sort of thing. She has contracted with an object of divinity in some way, shape, or form, and that is why she is allowed to sort of go out. You do not know exactly what it is, but you do know that she's, decent in a fight.
Did you say contracted or
Contracted.
contract? So she's like got.
She does not have the spark
got a
herself.
spark.
She has contracted, because, warlocks have a contract, with something that has the spark of divinity.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I get it. Yeah. So, is what she's contracted with one of
Yes, although
Strompoli's
she is
sparks that he's
secretive about what it is or whom it is. But you do know that it is
Okay.
in Stromtoli's possession.
Alright. That would have been
All right.
sweet.
So next is the Quickling. A Quickling, if you do not know, is a very small sort of fairy type thing. They are believed to have been cursed to live at about 4 times the rate of normal things, and they move faster, talk faster, do everything faster than quote unquote normal folk.
This.
Hey, how are you? I'm
Dustin.
Duskin. What's going on? We're from a party, right? What are we doing? We're going out?
She's.
We ready to go? Let's go. We're standing around a lot right now.
Um,
Don't think I like it.
What skills do
I'm a
you have?
warlock. I have a Patreon. Sort of in possession of Strompoli, but we're going to be dealing with that a little bit later. That's one of those problems that we've set on the back burner for a little bit, and we're going to deal with it as things come. Pretty good enough fight. I get to blast things with magic. It's pretty strong. Yeah, that's about it. We ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah, I like you. Yeah. You just go into the room on the left.
All right, sounds good. How long are we going to be waiting for, you think?
How many people were behind you?
There were a
Do you
couple
know?
more people behind me, not too many. I mean, there was like one big group of 10 or so. I mean, that might take a little while. I don't know if you're going to interview them all individually. It seems to be taking a long time for me,
could
that's
be
for
waiting.
sure.
Like, you might want to do, a quick few.
Yeah, I'm
laps
probably
around
going to
the
just
block.
pop down to the
This could
store for a
take
little bit.
quite a
Anybody
while,
want
and
anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you mostly ranged? In a combat situation, are you comfortable
Yeah, I'm
in a
not too
combat
bad in one.
situation?
Again, I get to blast sort of things with my magical warlock spells and all that. Pretty nifty. Pew, 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 pew. Pretty good. But yeah, from pretty long range. I mean, I would rather not get all up close and personal, but I guess I could if I had to. Things
Okay.
find it pretty hard to hit me because, like you swing down and then bam, I'm gone.
There is that.
You sir,
I
we're
understand
gone.
Yeah, no.
All right.
I think you're awesome.
Great, I think I am awesome. You're pretty good yourself. And she sort of does like snaps two fingers at you and points at you and gives you a little smile.
I do like her.
I'm gonna do the Fonzie A 2 thumbs up. You know that.
All right, well, you said I'm good, so but I'm gonna pop off to the shop, like I said, and try to pick something up. I can't really do this whole sitting around waiting thing. That's not for me. You understand? But I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
Don't
Out.
be too long, Duskin.
Yeah, no. I'll pop back in every once in a while and see if you're ready for me. All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Don't forget my
So
burger.
are we into a maybe pile?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have any actual range besides maybe the book.
All right.
I can see a lot of uses for
Okay.
a tiny.
Let's see. Getting towards the end, and we're actually getting towards people that I don't have pictures for. Oh no! Because there are two groups that I forgot pictures for. Next up is Reed. Reed, whoops, is an archer, ranger. More on the fightery side of being an archer than the rangery side.
Okay.
She would have been fairly new. She is a slave. She has gone out before, working for not Strumptoli, but for someone who Strumptoli worked for.
Alright, so I probably wouldn't have dealt with it
Yeah.
directly then. How new, like, past half year?
How new? Relatively new. We're talking within the last year, which is,
Yeah.
pretty new.
Yeah.
Again, she's not necessarily the most stealthy type of archer. She's about getting strong, debilitating arrows downrange as hard and fast as she can.
Yeah. So she's
She's definitely more. She's a ranged fighter,
stat.
basically.
yeah, she's stay out of combat and affect shit from a distance.
Personality-wise, frankly, I have
that's
no
fine.
idea.
I don't know. By that picture, it'd be like kind of almost roguish cockiness. I reckon.
I can see it.
Oh, sounds good.
All right.
Right.
All right.
Right. My daughter's calling me. AFK for a minute.
Bum, 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 bum.
Great, let's make a decision without the naysayer. Go, go, go.
This is Reed. She's a typical.
I would
Archer
say
girl.
I
She
am anything but
likes-
typical.
Well, she's sure of herself at least. She's dependable. She can put arrows down range like no one's business. She's not scared of a fight by any means. I haven't dealt with her personally. She's rather new around the city.
Come back.
in general.
I hear you ranger types like to keep
I'm not
pets.
a ranger type.
Oh yeah, sorry, ranged.
Ah, my bad. Sorry, that was my.
No worries. I'm more of the fighter type, but I prefer to keep my distance. Again, it's about getting arrows into the eyes of enemies.
Aim for the soft spots.
Generally works the best.
Slave?
Yes.
I like her.
Does that matter? And she sort of looks at you with a little bit of disdain.
Absolutely.
Only to hit.
Only to
Absolutely.
Only to her.
You one of those that get your jollies from kicking slaves?
You can see her brand, right? Tadpoles, that is.
No, I get my jollies from kicking people that aren't slaves.
Also, I believe Tadpole typically disguises her brand.
Yeah, you just
That's true.
go at home like guts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not I would say, in my home, I
Okay,
would say I'm
alright,
not
fair enough.
disguised.
I didn't know if it was a thing you would want to hide or not, even at home or...
No, in my home, no.
How well do you think you do against demons? Do you have any magical equipment? Do you
I do.
arrows enchanted?
They are.
Human? That's okay. You can't help how you're born.
No, we can't.
Okay. Well. Good.
Haven't really been saying what they are, so I'm gonna move.
Are they an arcane archer, basically,
Pretty much.
like Janian was?
Honestly, if we're looking for ranged, I think the quickling would probably be better. I mean, the would be more universally workable. Arcane Archer is pretty damn awesome, but the quickling brings some other
Eldritch
stuff.
Blast?
Yeah, that's what I say.
As-
Eldritch Blast. It brings.
Pew pew.
Yeah.
As someone who was an arcane archer, like I'd hope it was a buffed arcane archer because stock arcane archer is just really lackluster.
All right.
That's why I ended up just doing tank fighter because arcane archer just didn't really give anything great. Don't get enough
Put her
charges.
with Torin and Amber.
I assume every time we open that door, there's just a rave going on in there.
Everybody's having a good
Yeah.
time. Ooh. All right. I'm dying. Okay. Who is left? Who is left? All right. Blast from the past. Sort of modified. Yeah.
Ah,
Because it's too hilarious of a thing not to use, even though it is a different person.
And it's boars instead of dogs.
Boars, but more or less the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Basically the
Just-
same character, only like I
just
managed to
screwed up.
find a picture with an orc ranger in some sort of animal, so they are boars instead. Although I do not have the boars.
I suppose boars would make more sense than dogs too, because they've
Yeah.
also got tusks.
Sort of a kindred spirit.
Yeah. How close?
Citizen,
to Storm Tower?
not close at all. She's basically a walk-in, you know, hey, heard you're looking for something.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of boars. I'm a ranger. Yeah, and she would
As
have
you
4
do.
of the animals as well. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Should we set up camp
Yeah.
somewhere? We
Yeah.
draw them from there. So Grim, my first question is: do they like fish and or sharks? For no reason in particular.
Somewhat of a phobia, I'd like to think for good reason. On a distant plane once
Is that a
before,
plate
there was a
y'all
bit of a
smell?
run-in.
But yes, as 2 of you would have already realized, this is Grimgrow. She's she's an orc. She uses a bow, and she has. I mean, she'll hate me for saying this, no doubt, but she has pets with her.
They're not pets.
She sees them as some form of ancestor or kindred spirits or something.
Oh God, you have like 4
They're actually
dogs, don't you?
boars.
What type of?
They're boars this time.
Because of the picture. It's for flavor. And the name isn't Grimgrow. It's Grimgrow more Rash Gashagan.
That.
Gesundheit.
Grim go more rash
Exactly.
again.
Why do you do this to yourself?
I like you already.
Yeah,
Nice
they're the
coloring.
Yes.
ranger, right?
Are you good at
Yes.
tracking? Is there a particular type of area that you like to track in? Where are you native? I mean, mountains, plains. What kind of area are you? I know a little bit about. Well, do I know a little about rangers? I assume I know a little
everybody
bit
knows
about
a
rangers.
little bit about rangers.
All right, so basically, I'm asking favorite type of territory or favorite type of enemy.
Well, I hate the abominations. Those things that nature has corrupted and twisted into their own, well, abominations, frankly.
I assume
They
demons
don't.
don't count as abomination.
Very convenient, but they do not.
How do you think you would do at tracking in the Underdark, or not the Underdark, in the Abyss here? Because with a shifting landscape, have you been
No, I
outside
have
the walls
not.
yet?
I've heard some stories, and it would probably be difficult, to be honest. Very difficult, but not impossible.
Okay. I think the only reason why I would put her in the maybe column is maybe tracking skills. What we might want to do is put her on a trial basis. You know what I mean? Take her out for a short excursion and see how she does as far as, because this place we get lost way too easy out there.
I think that's agreeable enough. I mean, she seems nice. Enough.
No, she doesn't.
I don't know. I kind of like it. I'm digging the look.
Yeah. Well, I'm digging the color, but that's about it. No scales. I mean, come on. It's kind of ugly.
Yeah, you're very
No
biased,
scales.
Tattoo. I don't buy it.
But yeah, that's the reason why I'd put her in the maybe slot, is that normally I would not put a whole lot of stock in that, but I think where we're at now, that might be in handy if she can adapt and track, or at least help us get back to where we need to go.
Yeah.
Again, it's probably not something that's going to be like exceedingly easy to happen, because it is sort of definitely shifting in nature. But if anybody's got a chance of doing it, well, I don't want to say if anybody's got a chance of doing it. She has a higher chance of doing it than others.
Yeah, okay, with the maybe
That's
pile.
good enough for me.
Yeah, maybe pile, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I want a maybe pile.
So do your your spirit friends here, your little fleshy
My
piggy
ancestors.
things, do they your ancestors? So you're descended from a pig.
Well, no, but
Is
they're
what you're
they're
saying.
inhabiting this vessel as they watch over me.
Oh, so your pigs are.
Well, no, I mean they're just boars. Who cares about them? The important thing is their
You
spirit.
don't even need to train.
Do they fight?
Well,
or
yeah,
are they just here to eat?
they're boars.
So, what happens if one of them dies?
Are we talking Princess Mononoke levels of wars fighting, or are we just talking like
I've never
pigs?
actually seen it, but well, I mean, look, when one dies, we capture its soul, its spirit, and we find another vessel for it.
Can we eat it when they
It's
die?
just a vessel.
So, like, you could just get
Oh, that's
you
a
could get a
good
wild
answer.
boar and turn it into a fighting boar, and don't even need to train it just by putting the soul.
It's a little bit more complicated than that, but I mean, they have a certain special ability as it comes to it when they're better with fighting. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. They're not the greatest at fighting. They probably couldn't hold their own against any one of you, but there's 4 of them, and 4 things attacking at once, it does pretty well.
Can it be other
It
things
really
other than
does.
boars?
Oh, well, sure. I mean, it's whatever's handy.
Oh, okay. Like a demon.
I don't know
Or does
if
that have to
that
be
would work.
non-sentient?
I don't think so. I'll be honest, I didn't really try.
Have you thought about putting them in, like, lions or something?
Well, I mean, do you have any lions lying around?
We'll come across some sometime. I'm
don't.
sure of it.
I mean, if you've got a set of spare lions around somewhere, sure, we can make a shot at it.
If I ever find lions, I'll keep you in touch.
Okay. Well, nice thing is that we'd have fresh meat running around with us.
Well, I
wherever
mean,
we
you
go, so
you
that's
can't
good.
kill them until, the vessels use them. I mean, they're not exactly a larder.
So it's not dinner on the hoof. Okay. All right. Well, it's a week maybe in my book.
It's a maybe from me.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I would
have to say maybe.
I like them, so it would be
don't
a
get me
yes
wrong.
from me.
I have
so
no.
Everyone's saying
Again,
maybe,
this is
so
a
it's
character
just
that I've played before, but I have no strong attachments to it one way or another. So if we're saying maybe, like for my sake, you don't got to do that. Okay.
Oh, trust me, we weren't.
Come on, Grim. Come on.
All right, we're getting towards the end now, folks. All right. I'm also very cold because I've been drinking iced tea. I'm like shivering. The last person I actually have a picture for right now is Court Sulphur Smell, another tiefling. She is actually a straight thief.
Oh, yes.
This is one that is actually not from Stromtoli, but is from another senator who was recommended to Stromtoli. And as soon as I write this name and can focus on thinking, I will tell you their names. But I cannot do two things at once.
Fair enough.
Oh, excuse me.
No excuses.
uh, the senator is Doran. And he happens to, I don't know if you want to say preside, or he certainly works for the 10th district, which is called the Leviathan district. They deal, they're on the inner circle of things. They don't really have like a specialty, but a lot of mages happen to come from the inner city being a good thing, of nobilities, so there's certainly sort of a magical background to it.
Mm-hmm.
It is strongly recommended that they take this person. Ultimately, it's going to be, the player's choice. But when Stromtoli came to you, he would have told you that it is strongly recommended that you push for this person, even though there may not be the skill set that they are looking for. She is one of them shadowy type thieves, for the record.
Does she have like a previous reputation?
No. Pulling up,
so she
like, you would come up with nothing. She's either really good or unknown. She does have her own set of magical equipment. You don't exactly know what it is, but you can glance at it and tell that it's, on the up and up.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
And I'll also be back in a second. I'm going to use the restroom, but you can do introductions.
Yep.
Better not.
This... am I back in? Yep. This one is Court. She's, highly recommended both by another senator and by Stromtoli himself. She's good at what she does. You've probably never heard of her.
Well, what does she do?
Grim just had to step away for a second so he can do her side of it. She is the sneaky type. She's... Yeah, I'm not sure if she's thief or assassin, but she's shadowy thief, sneaky type.
It's like oh, you're
back.
Like my body has this chemical craving for caffeine. Like the more caffeine I put into it, the more caffeine it wants.
It's addictive.
Isn't that always?
Imagine that.
It's funny how it works, really.
Almost like caffeine's an
It's
addictive
weird.
substance.
It's so
There should be
weird.
something in it.
It's almost like it's a drug.
It's real weird.
Yeah.
That's me when I drink Monster.
A stimulant, in fact, you could say.
Very strange. I lost this picture for my next applicant, so I'm gonna try to look up another one. But questions, or the same one rather.
Oh God, what is it that you do?
To be blunt, I'm a thief.
I've heard this.
I find things out, I go in, I get things. I get out.
Are you more Like information gathering or thievery?
Yes. I can do
Okay.
a little bit of both. I have certain skill set, to be honest, where I am good at extracting information, but I'm also no slouch as it comes to the more dexterous feats. No.
Slave? Well, that's one strike against you.
Hey, don't mind her.
Don't listen to
Don't
him.
worry, I barely pay any attention to the rambling of slaves.
That's 2 strikes against her.
You'd be wise to do.
So in this particular situation of presumably invading hell, demon hellscapes, and a potential city around a certain point, what benefits would you bring to the table, you'd have to say? Especially with the more demonic kind who, demons.
Well, I'm not afraid of a demon, to a certain degree at least. Certainly I can take care of myself against any of the lesser ones. If you're asking what I can bring to the table, that's sort of an interesting question. Because I bring something to the table that isn't necessarily ready. I represent a certain someone that you are not acquainted with, who would very much like to come to your acquaintance. And it would be extremely beneficial for you to become an acquaintant with some said person.
So
I want to do an insight.
you're
on her.
kind of like a talent scout. You work for Stromtoli, but you also work for
I
someone else.
do not
And you want to see if we're worth
say
working
I
for
would work
someone
with
else?
Stromtoli. We have certain interests that occasionally collide with each other. Sorry, hold on. My daughter needs my attention.
I'm going to. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm going to ask Mommy a question if she's still playing the.
As long as it's not a
She will ask her
beholder.
what her Xbox name is on the
You know?
Xbox so that I can friend her. 'Cause she's.
Like, it's like another Thorgrim, but they're like Grim Thor or something like. It's opposite.
So the Xbox, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, Daddy?
And if you asked, I'd
You're gonna do
personally
what?
tell you guys that, yeah, no, she's not
Name on the
one of
Xbox is so I
Stromtoli's
can
lot
friend her,
directly,
'cause
but she
she
has been
suggested
You're already your
recommended by
mommy's
him
friend.
and
No, on
whoever
the
her person
Xbox.
is.
On the
I think the
Xbox.
option just having some other person to work with besides the beholder and the crazy dwarf is an option on the table.
I want to take her just because she's basically a talent.
Oh, yeah.
There's potential future employees.
Plus, realistically, a tiefling wandering around in hell
Okay.
might be a bit better off.
Like, we can do
gathering
that in a
some
little bit. I
information
don't know
from.
how much more I have, but I don't think it's
We got
extreme.
the muscle, we got the scouts, we got the security and item management at the camp, we got the advisor and kick-ass. We got the druid for food and they have the spores, we have telepathic communications, we have the sneaky healer,
Mm.
we have the other meat shield with the boars we can eat if they die, and the actual meat shields, and the book.
Okay.
I asked her if I can join her island, so we already played on her island a little bit. She
Oh,
hasn't
cool.
gotten the shop
All right, kiddo. I need to get back to my
Really?
game. I love you, and I'll be with you in a
Well,
bit.
you don't count,
All
you're
right?
a PC.
I'm sorry.
My only question to her is her employer another beholder?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Insight. I'm sorry. What was that insight about? Like what was the last thing that she said?
Her-
I can't.
For town scouting kind of thing.
Yeah. How serious is this message about somebody of power wanting to work with us, and that's best
she's
or in our
serious
best
about it.
interests
Yeah,
to do that?
that seems to be on the up and up.
Say that alone, then yeah. We need more options besides the beholder
Did
and the
I give you
dwarf.
guys the?
Yeah. I wanna say yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I see that.
So maybe pile. Okay.
Yeah, actually.
All right.
Did the crickling pop back in yet?
She would be back. She would have probably gone several times back and forth, popped her head, seen that you were all still talking, and then left again with an exasperated sigh.
Did Rick get a burger any of those times?
If she would have brought folks like food around, if like you really said, "Hey, get me some food."
She could also double as a messenger.
One of those times. All right. Last couple, honestly. I think last 3.
Mommy sent you a text with the Xbox name.
Okay.
She told me on Animal Crossing.
All right, I'll check the text in a little bit, kiddo.
Next one.
This is Captain Falcrest and company. He is one human, and then an assortment of humans, goblins, and whatever. It is he and 10 other people. They are sort of guards, plus slightly. They are not the strongest by any terms. They have gone out and they've done a lot of jobs in the city, a lot of odd jobs. He's a straight up sort of fighter. They are more or less sort of straight up fighters. They're fairly well equipped as things come, not necessarily in the magical department, but they're sort of at this level like your grunts, you know.
Yeah. So they're just general meat shields. Are they sent by Stromtoli directly?
They would not be sent by Stromtoli directly. They are more sort of walk-ins as well. They've been out into the abyss before. They have decided that they need some more backup. They didn't do awfully, but, you know, they didn't do great either, to be very frank.
So, very much like our party. Yep. And Felcrest.
Yep.
Daddy, how do you spell chick? Daddy, how do you spell chick?
C-H-I-K.
Okay, I was friending mommy.
And this is Captain Felcrest and company. There's a fair few of them out there, if we're going to be honest. But,
I have 10 people under my
cap-
command.
C-H-I. What's after C-H-I?
the captain sees to them.
I don't know.
They're,
Hand a chick.
for lack of a better word,
We'll see if
another mercenary company. They're not as established as you might be, but they've been out in the abyss, and they, at least most of them, managed to come back, but they've decided that they need a bit more help. Quite a lot like you guys a bit, I guess.
We actually could apply for a camp up and going too, if this way. Probably
Tell her I'm searching her name. on
stick some of our people with them that are more fighting with the regular. If we need to.
I mean, is your group, are they a mix of talents like ours? Or are they pretty
we
much
are
all
certainly
fighters?
more diverse, less diverse than your group. We are mostly fighters. We do some things from range, as of course no fighting unit is can do things only up close and personal. But we do not have any wizards or spellcasters of the like with us. No. What we are, sir, is ma'am, straightforward, no nonsense. We know there's a job to do out there, and we can buckle down and get it done.
Are you slaves?
We are sort of a mixed crew. I myself am not a slave, but we do have a few slaves amongst our numbers.
Daddy, it won't let me friend mommy.
Okay.
She's panda.
I know, I already.
Okay, you found her?
Yeah,
Great.
except.
As far as I'm concerned, the ogres are probably better meat shields than these guys.
Yeah.
Because I think the ogres are much more manipulative.
Same
manipulative.
time, some actual
We
security.
can not pay the ogres. Ogres don't care about.
We
We
can
don't
just
even know
beat
what they all want, actually. Should probably figure that out, too.
Well, I imagine figuring out what they want is once we've figured out which of them we want.
I think also if we set up like a base camp, that would be helpful around there, too, and we can actually set up all into one group to do stuff.
Well, I put
another
them-
good idea.
Captain
I mean,
goes with the reed and
Yeah,
know,
I'd chuck them. I'd
water
chuck
girl.
them off a while.
Definitely
I'd
take
prefer
his,
the ogres.
I think captain's a no.
take his business
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
Don't call
Agreed.
us, we'll call you.
Let's walk him over to the. I'm gonna walk him over to the no room. I'm not gonna say it's the no room.
You go to the no room.
To your left. Go to friend.
I could hear all that, and
goes into
before
the
you make a
future.
decision, I do want you to know that we can handle ourselves when it comes to it. You've made some illusions of using us as chaff or fodder, and I assure you that while we may not be as illustrious as your group, we are no chaff or fodder. What we do happen to have is quite a good knowledge in the history when it comes to tactics and fighting and more major skirmishes. Adventuring is all well and good, and I'll give you that. You can accomplish quite a bit with it, but we have knowledge of wars and the like, and we can handle ourselves accordingly.
Yeah, that's why I think that'd be good, at least for the extra security and actual scouting. Let's get Hart's opinion. What is Hart's opinion?
He's changed my vote.
Yeah. What does Hart think?
I'm gonna friend her.
Oh,
Let's
my
take on his
cool Hart.
expertise.
Have friend.
Hart, can you come out here for a second? They
All right,
have a
what's going on? My, you sound a lot like me. I sure do. Funny how that works out. It's a small world, isn't it?
God goes talk to
Yeah.
himself.
He sort of shrugs and he's like, me, personally, it never hurts to have more people along, but I'm not the one footing the bill. At the end of the day, you all are. Question is, do you think you need them or not? It's always a great thing to have more hands on hand. But who knows if you'll ever need them or not. To be frank, Captain.
My vote's no.
I'd say we should say maybe to see what everyone else wants price-wise.
To
and
be
then we go
honest,
from there.
you more or less seem to have the labor covered, and he sort of waves his hands towards your skeletons. I would not necessarily expect much more from this lot. Again, no offense, Captain. And there's some probably righteous rumbling from the captain, but Hart's reputation precedes himself.
personally.
You two can fight if you want. It'd be entertainment.
Well, on that
personally,
note,
I
go
think
ahead.
the captain and his men would be better at the city anyway in times like this.
And plus, how well equipped are your men? I'm assuming you have decent equipment, but how much of it is magical in nature or can actually damage the demonic incursion? The demons we're going after.
He sort of splutters for a while. Very, very little. We have some, again, irregulars with us, but I've seen what you've been bringing with you. The dragonling. You have a cart full of magical weapons and armors. You could easily outfit us in that.
Yeah, what did you bring with you, Zydron?
Frankly,
I
mostly
will-
crap.
I will get to that when we've made decisions. As a
Well-
quick side note, is it like a fair bit of magical
Sure,
arms
it's a
to,
fair bit of
equip
magical
them,
arms,
like-
honestly, but it is mostly like low level. Like, we're talking +1s of things like that.
So it's better
Yes.
for equipping.
Like,
Right.
if you were getting excited from the magical aid Stromtoli was going to provide you, you should not be excited.
Yeah, skeletons should have nice equipment at least.
Well,
Don't
I
keep
say
it up.
no to the captain.
We'll keep him in. Like I feel like no, probably, but we'll see how things go.
Okay, is there
leave
anybody
them in the-
after the captain,
There
or is the captain
are-
the last one?
2, 1.
Two.
Okay, there's more. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Technically, two.
Okay, cool.
You leave them there for now, and if we change our mind.
Yeah.
We'll have to look at everything too. Maybe all of these people over here are way too expensive.
They're only getting paid if Stromtoli pays up.
Well, I'm sure just giving them looting rights.
Yeah.
Keep
But,
what you kill for them as
All right,
well as
sorry,
us.
but we'll move him towards the no side. Okay.
We have non-magical fighters to fight.
Next we have Zool. Zool is a crafter. She makes poisons. She's more of an assassin type. She makes very potent poisons. The kind of poisons that are potent even to demons. Her reputation precedes herself as such. She wants to go out. She is confident that she can find something out in the wild that is, would affect the demons and not be an issue to even their normally non-poisonable selves.
Aye. You know there's going to be lots of Ghostbusters memes if we take her
Ghostbusters?
away. Zool is literally the demon from Ghostbusters.
Is it? No kidding.
Yeah. it's
Are you a
it's pretty funny.
keymaster?
Yeah.
Hilarious. She would be one that would have been asked by Stromtoli to accompany you, not sort of commanded. She is freelance. Again, she wishes to go out to acquire resources herself, because, if you're making poisons with materials straight from the abyss, they're going to be good.
Yeah. And she's got a reputation that precedes her by a fair bit then.
All right.
Sweet.
What are they? We didn't get any
um,
tokens. Or sheets.
This is... it's not spelled the same. Okay. This is Zool. She's looking for a key master. But no, this is Zool. She's a poisoner. She's an alchemist. She's very good at what she does. She has quite a name and reputation for it around the city. She wishes to come along as she believes that there's got to be something out there that will kill these demons better than anything else. And poison-wise, she...
Now, I know of your concerns, and before you speak them out, demons are typically resistant to our terrestrial poisons. There is not a thing alive that does not have some sort of toxin that can affect it in some way, shape, or form. All we have to do is find that toxin.
It's called holy water.
Amongst other things. Again, that is a terrestrial thing. I'm sure you've seen things that are out and about in the city that mimic, not the city, but the abyss, that mimic our nature. Parasitic demons, demons that feed on other demons. It's all the same, relatively.
We have seen the parasitic demons.
I know. I did my research as well.
Her poisons have been proven to work on the demons from here so far. she has managed to find some
To
form of
some
usefulness
extent. I will
against
admit
them.
that these things are not as potent as I would have wished, but again, with more time, more resources, I am positive that I could create something that is most effective.
Anything other than poisons that you bring to the table?
I have a
She's
certain
accomplished.
penchant
Potions,
for making other things. Potions, yes. Other imbibable artifacts, not necessarily artifacts, it was a poor choice of words, but objects. I am more on the sneaky side, putting a dagger in you, although I will admit I am somewhat rusty. I have kept to my lab for the last several years rather than going out and gallivanting across the countrysides.
Someone able to decipher the local fauna wouldn't be that bad. Especially since if we can actually get poisons working on the demons, that would definitely help us out.
You know what? We need to ask every single one of these people. Do they speak Abyssal?
Well, we have
Bit too
that's why we
low.
have Spore for. Spore can help us communication-wise. Mechanids can disperse telepathic spores. That's how they communicate.
So I do want to ask everybody so far if they speak Abyssal.
Spore feels confident she can commune with them. Tigbobo can definitely talk with the Abyssal. Duskin feels as if she could as well, although she's a little vague about it. She's like, well, give me enough time and I can do it.
She learns things really fast too.
4 times as fast.
Yeah.
But none of the others could actually speak. Zul cannot speak either.
We have me. We have the Mechanid who can use telepath and anyone in
Torin
range.
is confident she could pick up the language very easily.
Felcrest
cannot.
can't, I assume. The slime is a slime.
Are these poisons the type of things that are applied to weapons or ingested,
Yes.
inhaled?
Whatever you want them to be. They're poisons. He's an alchemist.
She
Yeah, for some reason I made like a
She-
ton of
she's an
female
she.
characters. In a book.
In a book. I think maybe just for the option of
I
more
just went by
damage.
what's a pretty picture. I'll be honest.
So mostly females, got it.
Well, that's a weak maybe on my part.
I think the option is something to explore, and if she does find stuff, we can actually make some money bringing it back, maybe. Because stuff that work against the demons would be in hot demand.
I'd put my vote to a maybe.
Yeah, she's in the left.
Everyone is just maybe.
Also good, except for the other ones that aren't good.
Okay, so like the last people I actually do not have tokens for. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But they are a trio of mages. They are Hargrove, Anton, and Tristan. Relatively young. They are humans. They are citizens.
Big, ugly, and citizens. No.
What are those specialties? What do you guys
Well, that's very
specialize in?
much the thing. We are sort of unique as it comes to things. We are specialists, so to speak. We specialize in not a particular school, but a particular spell each. We have taken it past a mere practicing of casting this spell and to taking it into more of an art form. We are somewhat limited in
what are your
our
spells?
spellcasting ability, as it were, as it comes to having a plethora of spells, but what we cast extremely well.
Okay, so that leads to the question: what do you
I also
cast?
didn't write it down. It is Melf's
Damage
Acid
grab.
Arrow. It is. And again, this is one of each of them have this spell. It is Melf's Acid Arrow. It is the straight old magic missile. And it is. Hold on. Oh no.
It is Summon Reginald.
Pew pew pew. Riley did pew pew pew.
I make sound effects.
You did.
Good, Daddy.
Thank you.
Pew, pew, pew.
This real prepared so I can play with Mom.
What is the other one? Because I had one planned, but I don't actually know. Come back to me. Pass.
That's okay. I'm gonna pass on them anyways.
Yeah. Well, you know,
They don't sound that great.
how spectacular are your enhanced spells?
Very much. In order to
Enhance
speak of
for
the
once.
sort of layman terms of casting a spell, we would be casting spells at a 10th level.
Oh, hey, now
That's a game changer.
that is a game
Mind
changer.
you, we do not have an infinite casting of them, even for our more cantrip things.
So how many times do you cast these per day?
4?
4 level 10 magic missiles?
That's a lot of
That's-
damage.
That is a lot of damage,
Which is
but it's not a prolonged amount of damage between
No.
rests.
But definitely the ultra glass cannons.
Yeah, and I don't think a glass cannon is what we need.
Yeah.
Not
we
in
want
not where we're at.
bosses.
Not where
Let's-
we're at.
Let's see, that's 1, 2. That's basically plus 9 magic missiles 4 times a day. So that's like 11, 12 magic missiles. Be like something like that, basically.
Yeah, I say no.
That's an
No.
arrow, and the third one's like some high level spell, maybe, but otherwise.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that good to me.
They weren't recommended or
No, they were
anything,
not.
Grum? Then yeah, no.
They're again
Yeah,
more sort of
'cause, like,
walk-ins from the
just-
college.
Just this is the. I wouldn't recommend them just because of they can do a lot of damage with that magic missile, but
I can do more damage with the fucking fireball.
Phantasmal Killer, always a good one.
that's a crit fail. It's like in
Phantasmal
the
Killer's
same
the best.
region of damage.
Level 10 Phantasmal Killer.
If I get crit success, it's
That would
wouldn't
be
be that
twice a day,
bad, but
however,
still.
Phantasmal Killer.
Oh. I'm gonna look at them, and they're
Huh?
younger, right?
They themselves are not very
They're
old.
younger,
no.
right? I'm gonna go back to your damn college.
All right,
Go learn this spell.
so
hits
pretty
them
much a
with
hard
ag.
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hard
Yeah.
no. I mean it's tempting, but no.
All right. Let me give just one more look over, make sure I got everybody. I believe so. Okay. All right, so now we got some decisions to make.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, on that note, what does everyone want? What's the prices?
What are their conditions to join us?
For the most part, we're gonna simplify things down. Like, everybody is pretty much looking for objects and things, or like most people, you know, they certainly mentioned if they are. But, you know, they're counting, you know, going out for the next 3 or 4 months, or however long it'll be exactly. And so they're looking for about 2,000 gold, 1,000 up front, 1,000 when they get back.
And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are the ogres taking 1,000 together, or?
Yes, we'll say yes.
What's that?
Well, they are a package deal.
9. 10.
That's 10 altogether. So 20k total. I can afford that.
Hell no.
None of
My
them.
It's not even the. Not even the guild money. It's my personal money.
You want to pay him with your personal
And
money? That's fine.
If you want to pay them out of your personal money, like when we get another 20k in the guild funds, you should get.
Well, that's the thing. We don't have any guild funds, so I'm gonna have to pay it anyways.
Yeah, but like we should get paid by Stromtoli, which means the other 10,000 shouldn't have to come in directly out of yours, but you should still be reimbursed your 10,000 that you already spent.
But,
well, if we're going to have to reimburse, then I say let's trim it down a bit.
All right, so I'm going to move out all the no's. Can I do that? Is there anybody we're having second guesses about?
No.
Okay. Torn
No.
does speak abyssal, demonic.
And now we have people
Still a
living in our walls.
no. They're in between. Watching you.
I can fix that. Just let me take the wall and put it in the other wall. Now they're gone.
So out of these,
I think
maybe-
Heart and Court are probably yeses just for the sake of what they bring to the table. Right?
I'm going to move things around a little bit so we can all sort of see. Oh no.
Grimgro and Zol would probably be the only ones that I'd think about changing to a no. The rest either offer something good.
I think Zol just for
or-
the option of if she does find stuff and we can harvest it, that's a lot of money.
Well, why don't we write down like our top 3 and see where we overlap?
I say Heart and Court just for this fact that one of them's, is experience is recommended, and the other one has more jobs for us, should be on the probably accepted list. I think we all need the clerics, we need the healers, so that's over there. I think any of us don't like Spore. She's healing and communication, so she's probably over there. Then we just have to pick between
Book
Oh.
Artificer.
That line there is my top 5.
Shall we actually write it down? Like, this is my top 1 to put them in order or something like that in Discord?
I think so.
Well, I'm saying besides
Yeah.
the ones we're probably
Right.
taking, like cleric and stuff, yeah. But the Grow, Spore, Duskin, Bookie, and Sue. I think I think these ones are shoo-in. Anyways, so the others should count them.
Ew, you're adding little things
Not
to
that.
it.
I'm really voting. Oh, I forgot about the ogres. Yeah, but the ogres with the rest.
I mean, we're obviously all taking the first three, so why even count them?
Well, who? Let's see. Court.
The one
I'm
with
not.
circles on.
She's not in my top 5.
She's got a job for us, or connections at least. We should have that. But the cleric
Yeah.
and Hard are definitely yeses. And probably the ogres.
Guts.
Sir,
Want to hear your top 5?
my choices.
Haha, back in a second.
Daddy, I'm preparing the world for mommy.
Which one's Bookie?
The book.
Bookie, meaning the book.
Oh, book. Okay. Yeah, that one doesn't even make it on my list at all.
Digbobo.
I like the idea of him, but yeah, he doesn't seem.
Okay, he's not obvious out then. But yeah, we're all gonna like the first three. Like we all have the same. The healer is definitely coming.
Yeah.
Heart's got the experience and all that. He's definitely coming, so we shouldn't even talk about them. Court is only because the connections, which would be useful. And then the ogres are probably muscle, realistically. I don't think we need the ranger. Spore's just
No.
there for communications, personally, and she's a druid that can help with healing. The poisoner, the warlock, the book's out, and the artificer probably the one. So that's only
I
only
reckon
like
we can
12k.
drop the artificer.
But she could be possibly useful with her constructs, especially for security and scouting. She can probably do more with her constructs than I could do with my alarm. And they all have dark vision. And she can make stuff for us. With James Bond, she's cute. And she has gunpowder.
Yeah, gunpowder's a crutch for the week.
Why fight something when you can blow it up?
Plus, it's not magical gunpowder, so.
Okay, so let's go ahead. We're all agreed on Whisper, and we're all agreed on
Okay.
Court
And heart.
Excuse me.
and Heart.
Big.
And Heart. So those are the 3 that we're agreed on, right?
The book's definitely a no, I think.
Yeah, I think book's out.
She can play Minecraft.
I really want to put my point forward for the quick playing. We need the.
Yeah, I think the quickling's a,
Yeah,
and then I would take the druid just because of the communication, because we found that has been really a challenge.
All right.
That would be my top list. Is that 6?
So Court, Whisper, Heart, Spore, Duskin.
Yeah.
And who was the other one?
That's my
Those
top
are the
list.
top 5.
I'll
Yep,
I'll
I think
pay
that
for.
was-
I'll pay for the 2 utility ones just because I think they might be useful.
Well, and the ogres,
And the ogres.
obviously
And the
the
ogres.
ogres.
They don't fit in the back room. Don't put them in the back room.
We're going to lie on this bed.
I think that's our group. We have ranged, we have melee, we have communication, we have leadership, and we have stealth and healing there. I think Heart actually, if we had to get run, Heart would be the next one I'd get rid of.
He's stronger than us.
He's strong. Well, I don't know if he's stronger than me. I've got a belt of Stormdrive
He can
strength.
take all of us
Like,
on.
I mean,
He's
for the
higher
record,
level.
he's not stronger than you as a group. I mean, when we're saying he's stronger
Yeah,
than us,
but he's stronger
there's
than-
an implication that he's stronger than all of us. And
You're talking about physical strength?
no, not necessarily.
Physical strength? Is that what you're talking about?
He's known better. His company is stronger than our. It's
He
some
comes
weird
just
shit.
himself, not with
Just
the group,
himself,
right? He
yes.
comes with just himself. Yeah. Yeah, if we
And his
had to
reputation
axe
can
another
be
one, I would
set.
get rid of Hart. But I'm
Again, I
okay
don't.
keeping him.
It should be said. Probably doesn't need to be said. I'm okay with you taking as many or as few as you like. You know, we don't have to limit this down to
I know.
5 people.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly
we,
wouldn't
we
mind.
can put
The ranger and the book normally gonna do much, but the poison and the artificial might be helpful here and there. And I would be willing to pay for them.
yeah,
For all of them. Anyway.
yeah. I'd agree with Adrian, and the artificer would come in handy.
And some of them can just stay at the camp. We don't need all of them all the time. The ogres would probably just be the muscle.
So I guess the question is between Grimgrow and Tack and Tigbabo.
No. Sure,
I want Grim, but I think I'm like the only person.
I like Grim too. I would rather take Grim over the Artificer or the Poisoner, personally.
Both.
Take the artificer. I'd take Grim over Tabo. Tabab. I don't know how to say the book name, but I'd take Grim over that one, and probably, yeah.
Those
Tigbabo.
bows are gonna die in like 2 seconds.
I'd happily drop both of them and probably the Poisoner or Artificer as well.
The poison, at the very least, if you do find fauna or stuff we can use, that's a money thing. You know what I
But
mean?
have we seen anything like that around?
Well, we don't know. None of us are alchemists.
Yeah, I feel like in the Abyss, the artificer would be more important than the poisoner, but
I would disagree.
But there's
Well,
nothing stopping
there's
us
also the
taking the
fact
both.
that
Yeah.
Adrian is just offering to just pay for them anyway.
Well, no,
yeah.
loan
So-
is what he's saying. He said, "Give us a loan." Is
the
what he's
thing
saying.
I'm the bank here. You're all
Yeah,
playing
exactly.
Monopoly. I'm the
he
bank.
basically takes care of the party money anyway. So
Yeah,
as far as we know, the party's paying for it.
no,
That's why I would want to limit it a little bit.
he made shitloads off that armor.
Yeah, he made bang.
He also
make-
undersold the god that we sold by
Not gonna let
dramatically.
him forget that, are you?
You don't know how much we could have gotten for that. That was a great area.
It's like it's the same reason why you don't steal the world's most priceless gem, though, because no one can buy the world's most priceless gem. Sometimes, if you find someone who wants to buy it, it's got to be at a set price.
So, okay. So who is on the gray area? We've got, in my opinion, the Artificer, School, and Grim. Right? Those are the that are on the gray area.
Yeah.
She said okay.
I think Grim brings the least amount of utility apart from the tracking, but I'm sure the Artificer could make something help with that anyway. And to mention the
See.
security assets.
Of those three, if we had to take one more, I would rather take the Alchemist, because that's just something that the Artificer is giving us knickknacks and stuff like that, but just to enhance what we've got. The Alchemist is something none of us can touch.
Realistically, Grim, what can the Artificer do?
Create stuff. Like, she comes with sort of like minions on her own as a baseline right now.
Like scouting, security, can she help us make stuff in unique situations
Yes.
kind of thing?
Like, if you have a need, she could probably help you all out. But, like, as it is, she's sort of, a utility. She comes with these things that are warm bodies as it comes to doing things, but are not necessarily great at it.
Yeah. So, a wide variety of mediocrity.
I think the book and Grim are really out because they don't.
Yeah,
bring as
the
much-
task, the book's gone. The book's not
Bring
even
the
an
book.
option.
Man, imagine not bringing the great big book of
Don't you-
everything.
I mean, if Adrian says bring the book, I would bring the book since he's back.
Yeah.
I'm not
Like,
upset
Grim's just
either.
bringing
I'm
some
joking.
They're gonna. The Grim is gonna. Her board's gonna die within the first turn, and she can help maybe track.
Well,
So you're-
I'm good keeping them all if we want to.
You want to keep them
It just
all?
seems-
That's correct.
It is a rather ponderous group. But I think just the 4 ogres by themselves is a ponderous group. So
We can live on them. We can make that like an ogre house.
Think of this also,
Who knows?
maybe not
these
necessarily
guys
as much as what we're going out with now, but think of this as expanding our company some. These are talented individuals who at least want to work for us for some reason, and we are accepting them into our company, you know, to help us work, to expand our own business.
Small business than the alchemist, definitely, and maybe the artificer, because she can take.
Although,
some
frankly,
load
it's
off
not
the
necessarily
craftsmanship.
that cut and dry. I mean, Zool definitely has her own business, you know.
Oh yeah, but having an alchemist that's not a druid would be helpful. Fuck druids. No offense to the druid in the party.
Hey.
Like the
well,
faction.
plus
Of
we
druids?
also have 420 coming as well, right?
Yes.
Are we paying you? No,
Yes. No.
no.
What
No.
420? What are you? What is your specialty?
He's a
I'm a
druid.
druid. I'm a.
Oh, you're a druid.
Moon druid. I combat.
He's a
shift.
tanky druid.
I've also most of my spells currently and will most of the time be the healing spells and then utility damage. I've got a lot of AoEs and stuff like that, and like CC crowd control and stuff. I've got a lot of moving and holding.
On
Okay.
that note, were the ogres recommended, or did they just show up?
They were slaves.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they
Like, here, have some muscle.
just showed up.
No, they can die.
All right. Well,
Not
I'm okay
easy.
with that group.
8 plus ogres.
Let's why don't we agree to a 30-day trial period before we take them onto a longer?
Yeah.
You know, we'll go out, we'll do an adventure, and if we say that the artificer is just of no real value to us or whatever, then we'll cut her loose. That type of thing. Or same thing with Duskin or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like the artificer could be useful for like.
No,
if-
it could
if
be,
he
but
wants to
I just don't
properly
know. I don't know, but I'm saying let's do
join
across the
Imperials.
board. Let's do an across the board 30-day, you know, termination with no cause, you know, probationary period. So why don't we do that before we commit to take them on full time? We'll take them
Okay.
on for 30 days.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 5, 8, 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The ogres
Yeah,
all
they
together.
count
The
as
ogres are
one
1.
because
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. It's kind of a lot of money, but it's fine.
Okay. So we are taking
There you have it, Grim.
Grimzul and Sue, yes? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Now, what pile of crap was delivered
Mostly,
to us?
like, again, you know, level 1s, suits of armor, leather, short swords, long swords, various things like that. Like, you could, however your skeletons were equipped before, you can equip them with a +1 version of that, if that's what you're looking for. There were healing potions. There were 10 greater healing potions. But that's kind of it as it goes for things of value. It was mostly just, you know, this is stuff I have laying around.
So I have all this +1 armory lying around. Yeah. Okay.
So how are you planning on playing this, Grim? Are you going to have each of us
Again,
take
that's
an NPC?
That's my question for you guys. Is that the way we would like to do it? It would go through much quicker if everyone sort of took control of an NPC or one or two. I don't mind running it all myself. Again, that's sort of...
Yeah,
Plus, they're not all
sucks.
fully coming into combat with.
I
Like, I don't think
I
the
totally-
two. Go ahead.
I totally was thinking that it would be cool to play as Dust.
Can you handle a level of caffeination though?
And it's not necessarily playing as the person in a non-combat situation, I mean, they're still NPCs. I would still be handling them in that. But as it comes to combat directly, you would be control of their actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I could actually play Duskin as a out of character, as out of combat as a character, but I reckon I could play
it doesn't
as
necessarily have to be tied to you
in-
either. For instance, somebody can play as Hart one fight, and then somebody else can play as Hart the next fight, or Duskin, or whomever have you.
We have to share his ads.
Oh yeah, of course. It's just I wanted to at least try.
But are we receptive to that idea? Are we hesitant about that? Or...
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
fine.
Okay.
No, I like that idea.
We all have to play in order though. We have to decide who's club, dub, thub, and zub. Who's who.
I can do. Are they basically fighters?
They're basically fighters.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I was thinking either court or the ogres for me.
I'll probably do Whisper and
There
or
is
Heart.
not a lot of complexity towards Hart, the actual thief, the ranger. The cleric is just a cleric. I mean, except she does her things. The warlock is, again, just a warlock. The druid is just a druid. Zool and the artificer are sort of specially ruled. I mean...
I'm going to stick one of the basic ones then.
But again, it can
Ogres.
change from session to session. I mean...
Yeah.
Okay, but it sounds good. I will make up characters for them. Funnily enough, I started making up characters for everybody, which is what was taking so long. Then I was like, nah, forget that.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So,
I'll upgrade my
Sounds pretty cool.
skeletons.
All right. So are we done for today?
today?
All right.
How many potions? And that's the only thing that was really
It was
unique. You
10
said.
graders.
imagine if we actually hired Duskin to the Imperius company. He could be able to live.
What's that? There were 7 greater healing potions.
Hey, fair enough. I mean, if you want to pocket a couple, that's totally on you. You would have plenty of opportunity to do so.
So, there were 7. Can I just have one of those? Because
Yeah.
I've never actually carried around a healing potion on me, and after these last
Did,
fights,
but then you
Rick-
sold it.
it
Actually,
it is actually something Rick would want to start carrying around with him.
I think
So
after
I just
what
want
we did,
one-
all of
one
us that don't
healing
have any healing would probably be good to have at least one. Everyone of us that can't heal in any way.
There's 7 to divide up between you guys.
There's 6. I'm just grabbing one.
I think Rick should get at least 2, and then have Wes take
Rick
1.
should get probably the leftovers after everyone else has grabbed 1.
Greater healing potion?
Yes. 44 plus 4.
What should
Is
I
there
give this?
any gold, platinum, or adamantine items, weapons, anything on the cover?
No, it's more sort of just base level, yeah.
Stock, yeah.
Would it be like +1 crossbows, or +1
Both.
ammo, or both? Ooh. And just kind of regular armor, leather, breastplate, scale mail.
Nothing higher than chainmail, really. Or breastplate. I always forget which is which.
Breastplate is medium, chainmail is heavy.
Chainmail's heavy? It would be medium then.
Do
It would
the-
be the breastplate.
Are there +1 weapons that the ogres
Yes.
have?
There would be clubs for them. There would be leather armor. But that is something that they would come with. I mean, that's part of their own kit, not the
Okay.
gift.
Did
So
I
I'll make
do
sure.
that right?
All the skeletons will have nice breastplate.
I'm not going to
then.
make it so any of the characters can't hurt these, demons, because, man.
Yeah, perfect.
Can you imagine?
We've learned from that, yeah. All right, cool.
They'll have their own things as well when I get to writing up their actual characters, of course, for the other named people. But the ogres are going to
Yeah.
be sort of stock.
It is 4d4 for a potion of greater
Yep,
healing.
44 plus 4.
I did write that up.
Yep,
I
that's
did
right.
write up that roll.
Okay.
Are we counting
Because I noticed
ammo? Like,
I just set it as an attack roll, but you can untick the attack so it doesn't roll dice.
huh. But is there like a finite amount of crossbow
A
bolts, for
fun
example?
item? No, not. It's just.
We just
Oh,
a
finite.
a
Oh,
finite
yes.
amount.
There are 50 of the
We
plus
just say
1
we have.
crossbow bolts. And 50
Okay.
plus 1 arrows as well. Yeah. We're pretty much at the end now. It was sort of an interesting session. Big long interview and all that. But it went pretty well, I think. Got a lot of interesting characters.
It's.
Agreed.
They certainly are.
I wanna see the entirety of the Imperatus company now. Let's chuck all the tokens of all the characters.
There's a
we have
lot
in
right now. I
Imperatus.
mean, okay.
You've got my water elemental thrown in there. You've got all
Get
kinds
rid
of
of the
stuff.
nobodies. Get rid
Chuck
of
them
these
all
guys.
down the bottom, away from the ones
you-
that group's got to do character sheets for.
Do you by have any chance have like a token for a swarm of bees? Because I technically have a swarm of
These I do
bees
not.
token for.
A swarm.
We don't need to count summons.
Well,
Yeah, we do.
We
Oh,
totally
God.
could. We totally could because someone got the walls.
Nice. Well, the walls count, kind of.
Because I could totally summon bees, so I would have a swarm of bees next to me. So imagine a swarm of bees next to me. Here, I'll help.
I appreciate it.
Ah, fuck my eye.
It's a decent sized company.
We're not bad.
Oh yeah, and I suppose because you said I got a cart and donkey again, or cart and horse, I got a cart and horse.
Sure.
So
I guess technically they're a part of it.
Oh.
I mean, if this donkey, like, actually eats my houseplants again, it will get dropped. Like, I didn't kill Janian's donkey because Janian was a good guy. But I've only just met you. I will kill you.
But
it's not my personal
Oh,
horse.
the donkey's gonna eat the alchemist stuff.
good session again. Different, but I like different. I think we're going to go ahead and end it right here. I mean, I might be on a little bit longer. We'll see what happens. But officially, we are going to be stopping the stream. Thanks for coming out and checking us out. If you came out and checked us out. And if you didn't come out and check us out, shame on you for not coming out and checking us out.
Daddy,
Shame.
I can't watch
Shame.
it.
I know. They
Shame.
Sometimes, a little bit of shame is important and healthy, kiddo. That's not true.
Daddy just whispered it's not true to all of you watching.
Again, I'm Grim. Thanks for coming out. That was my daughter, Riley. Say bye, Riley.
Bye.
You're supposed to say bye, Riley. This is Comedy 101, kiddo. I feel like you're missing out on it. Again, thanks for coming out, everybody. Hope you have a great one. And peace out.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Great rest of your day.
What?
Night.